Sometimes you got to be real with your damn self. Yeah, a lot of y'all looking fucked up. A lot of y'all looking real bad. Yeah, you need to do something about that shit. Looking horrible. You're looking horrible. I need some fucking water, man. Let's get positioned right. Let's get this thing right. Let's get it right. Let's get it fucking right. I think I want this position like right in front of me. Hold up. Hold up. I want this to be more in the front. Yeah, I want this right front and center so we can really get in there. Hold up. Ah, fucking bitch. You fucking whore. You fucking whore. All right. There we go. There we go, you fucking whore. Yeah, you do what I want you to do, you stupid camera. Yeah, you do what I want you to do. Agape says she's coming. That's right. You come on now. You come on. Shout out to my bro Reggie. What's up, Reggie? Who else we got on, man? Got a few people. We got a few people coming in early. Today we're gonna have a real ass conversation about, yo, get this shit the fuck out of my shot, bro. Damn. Fucking random shit. Right. Today we're gonna have a real conversation about, looks. We're gonna talk about how you look. We're gonna talk about visuals. We're gonna talk about why that shit matters. Yeah. We're gonna get down to the nitty gritty. We're gonna get down to the nitty gritty of it, baby. And we're gonna hop right into it. We're not gonna warm it up. We're gonna hop right in. So you might want to hit the share button. Hold up. Here goes Agape. Let me get her on here. I need to turn my fan on. I don't want the fan in the back. Hold up. Actually, you probably can't really hear it too much anyway. I still got a lot of clips. I gotta.
I'm really good for fucking up a good ring light, so I'm trying to
get it together, Agape. Get it together. Hold on. I think she done messed up her audio. I think it's because she probably took the thing out. Yeah, we can't hear you anymore, Agape. We can't hear you. Shout out to Josh Williams' world famous barbecue. Man, hold up. Hit the share button, man. We about to have a conversation. Yeah, we about to have a real ass conversation. And if you're tuned in, I'm gonna want you to participate in this conversation because we're about to hop on and we're gonna talk about how you look. Yeah, we're gonna talk about how ugly you are. No, no, I'm playing. I'm really not though. Dead ass serious. We're gonna talk about looks. We're gonna talk about visual. We're gonna talk about, we're gonna talk about physicality. You ever go live on TikTok? Man, fuck TikTok. No, I'm playing. No, I never go live on any other platform outside of Facebook because these other algorithms, I really don't understand how the fuck they work or how they really get to the people. But, when I try to get to people on those, it's a little different. It's a little different on TikTok and Instagram. I might go live on TikTok just to see what the hell is going on now, just to see what's going on. Man, let me get my glasses so I don't have to squint. God Damn, hold up. Agape's trying to get back on, so I'm gonna bring her back on right now in a second. Josh Williams said, if not, you should. TikTok would love your goofy ass. They already love my goofy ass. Fuck you mean, bro? I ain't even went live yet. But you know, every time I make a post, I get a few new people, new TikTokers, you know, new TikTokers. They be on there looking at their TikToks and shit, doing this all day. You be having your ass on your phone doing this shit all day. This what y'all like to do. This what y'all like to do. Yeah. I just made a post today about you motherfuckers being online all the time. All y'all do is get online every day and talk about a whole lot of fucking nothing. Well, guess what? I'm tired of being quiet now. So now I'm on y'all motherfucking ass. Yeah, I'm on your fucking ass. Bitch. Hold up. Let me talk my shit today. Let me talk my shit.
We should be good now.
Oh yeah, you sounding real crispy right now.
Okay, great. Because before, I think when I got on, you couldn't hear me.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you.
Well,
shout out to Princess Red. Hold on, I gotta shout my people out because we got a few early people in here today. We got the viewers. It says 7 or 8, so it's a good bit of people in here early. So if you're tuned in right now, drop a wave so I can give you a shout out. But yeah, this is something me and Agape do. We try to do it every Monday, but yesterday what had happened was I was what had happened was sometimes you make a plan in life and life be like, fuck your plan.
Fuck your God. I'm laughing all goofy and shit over here.
Let them know about that, Agape. Let them know how life be having other plans.
Life be life in it. Life don't give a shit about your plans. The only thing life cares about is you submitting to it.
Woo! Y'all be talking about men and women submitting to each other, but at the end of the day, men and women gotta submit to this life shit.
Ooh, yes, bring that divine masculinity in here.
Put some respect on my masculinity. Yo, is that called, what do they call that you got on right now?
A caftan, but people call them muumuus though. A lot of people be like, "Oh, I love your muumuu."
That's the word I had in my head is the muumuu because I be hearing that a lot. I ain't want to say it and be wrong, so I just wanted you to say it.
Muumuus remind me of like old white trailer trash, like, you know, those 90s that have a little bow right here and they're like, you know, they cut off right at the thighs and they're like kind of cotton. This is not that to me, you know. This has signs and symbols and things on it, but let me just tell you, a lot of people, like white people especially, will stop me and be like, "Oh my God, I love your garment." I'm like, "Okay, thanks." And they're like, "Is it silk?" I'm like, $8.99 Burlington Coat Factory. They're very cheap. But I'm like, that's a little, but they would probably never buy it just because it is cheap, but it looks expensive and that's all that matters, right?
Man, that's the thing, yo. You ain't gotta buy expensive shit to look good. It's about the person wearing it. Yeah. Come on now. That's the perfect segue.
Big girl evening wear. Exactly.
Hold on, who said that? Oh, shot to my bro. That's Reggie. That's my bro Reggie.
Big girl evening wear. Hey, that's exactly what it is.
Listen,
but
man.
In Africa, it's like a commonality. Here, we just, you know, we're vain. We care about what we look like, you know, a lot more.
Hey, but yo, how you look is an important thing. I feel like in today's society, how we live in America, it definitely matters.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it mattered way back in the day, like when we was really on our tribal living shit and we was really outside just doing life together as a community. I wonder if I feel like it mattered then too.
I feel like, yeah. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I always feel like pretty people always get privileges, you know, and doesn't matter what time in society that ever existed. If it was in Roman, if it was in, you know, medieval times or and things, you would be a woman who's wearing a corset and, you know, find a way to fasten your hair up and things like that compared to like a peasant woman who's like more in rags and you know,
Mm.
makeshift clothing and things like that. And the way that you look always gets you a spot in a position. Even in slavery times, you know, when the black women, beautiful fair skinned black women, were gonna be more house niggas, you know what I'm saying? Versus outdoors and things like that. You always get treated better by how you look. I noticed that
Facts.
my mentors have trouble because they're not the best looking people. Like I like ugly people. The reason I like ugly people is because they usually have more value. Shit that comes out of their mouth usually makes a lot more sense than pretty people because all they've
Pretty
been able to
people be dumb as
yeah,
hell.
yeah. So
Not
not
all pretty
not
people.
everybody,
Not
but
all pretty people, cause I'm pretty as a
right,
motherfucker.
right. But you know, you get the wave. You had to probably change a lot of things about how you perceive things in order to do that. Some people don't do like any type of self-evaluation, and so they're just lost in the vanity because they're used to having people tell them they look good all the time and they don't even have a reason as their value is only set in their looks.
Yeah, cause like what you said, that pretty privilege is a real thing, and when you look good, you get a lot of attention and you get a lot of opportunities and offers without you having to speak, without you having to do nothing. You just showed up, and you maybe put a little bit into like, cause pretty people they take a lot of time to like really make
Fashion
sure
and
they
looks, yeah.
glammed up and hot. So that part is like they're putting work into that.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it's like you just okay, you got yourself together and you just showed up and then all the stuff just came your
Yeah.
way. Whether that be social media. I feel like social media shows us what's always happened in the world. People
Mm-hmm.
be thinking that social media is something so much different than what happens day to day. This is just it's showing us human behavior on a grander scale, like on
Oh
a
yeah. Oh
worldwide scale.
yeah.
But this shit ain't nothing new.
It's always been going on. It's just that I think it's advancing because of social media. Because, like, you know, the influence is there more so than it was before. We were only influenced by our colony at the time. Now,
Now we
there's so many colonies to be influenced
man,
by. So it's
it's the
like
world tribe. It's the World Wide Web.
worldwide
It
tribe.
is
Yeah, worldwide
the
web.
work like we're all connected, so we're all being influenced by everything.
Yes, correct. So that has its good and you know its polarities. You
Yeah,
have
it's like man, you give people access to something, you give people power, and usually people abuse it. But
hmm no,
it's like
that's I learned from. I'm a Star Trek baby myself. I love Star Trek over Star Wars, and not that you have to pick one or the other, but I just like Star Trek. But a line from Star Trek was, and I don't know if it came from somewhere else, but it was absolute power corrupts absolutely. And that's so true. You know what I mean? Like once you reach that, and then it's always an age old story. If you've ever seen The Lord of the Rings or any of these movies, it's always about power that corrupts an individual or a being or a nation. But really, it's just you know, it's really just you. It's about you. It's not about everything else. Because if
yeah,
we figure out what's going on within us, we automatically heal everything. Everybody just, all people have to do is just be informed and aware of that. So simple, such a simple shift.
it's like the real power is in you. It's
Yeah.
not it's not what you can control or your position that you can have in the world. Nobody gives a fuck. Like like you're gonna die too, you idiot.
Yep.
You're gonna die whether you're down here or up here. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and being up here doesn't make you any better of a person. You're the same person whether you're down here or up here. You still got the same character. So like
Mm-hmm.
who are you really if your position in the world is what defines who you are? Like
Yeah, and most people that are have real, true esoteric and spiritual value aren't even positioned in places of power. So that's
right.
that doesn't really go to like scale anything. Doesn't scale shit. It's just like again, it's just something that the influence of media has made us think about even positions and things like that. Unless it was like a hierarchy or a kingship or something, we never gave a fuck about that. about influence of people, peers, and all that stuff. We never cared. It's all just like I mean, I'm not saying that we never cared, but because of how grand it's become, it's like we care about stuff that we shouldn't because of that. And then
Mm-hmm.
we like kind of forget about the things that we should care about, like nature and love and genuine, honest conversation.
And just getting to know yourself
Right.
and not being so overly obsessed with
Trying to be
having
like somebody else, like
having
this whole.
other people see you
Mhm.
and feeling like, oh, if the world loves me, then I'll be all right.
That's that B. That's what I call that BBL mentality. You know what I'm saying? Where you feel like you gotta look like this. I mean, I've seen the most beautiful shaped women go and ruin their bodies with that with that procedure, put their entire life on the line, risk their life because it's the most risky procedure you can have done to your
Yeah,
body.
it's like that brings
And
me.
like I think there's like a 30% like a death rate or something crazy as
They
fuck.
gonna put
It's not.
their life on the line for that ass.
That's what I'm saying. And then the ass be coming back, bouncing back like ant booties and shit. And I'm like, bruh, I like the slim booty on you was right, just
Come on,
enough to like tap
no,
it underneath and
this
just a
bring.
little jiggle. But
Come on, right? Everybody's not blessed with the amount of jiggle that some women have. Like some women just have really, really big
and
curves.
guess
You don't
what?
gotta.
Not everybody likes really, really big curves.
Right. Some
That's
of
what
us
I'm
like
like,
the
you're trying
slim
to match.
figure.
I'm like, you're trying to match somebody else's persona and personality and their God given birth, whatever they're supposed to look like. You're trying to match that so that people will like you. You don't know if your counterpart even likes that. Like, but I guess they say they're doing it for themselves. But how can that be something
They're
that you're
not.
doing for yourself if that's not something that we're born with like that's a program? So you have to be doing it for other
That's
people. You're
another
not doing it for you.
thing. Like I I hear a lot of women say that when they be saying, "Yo, I'm getting glammed up for me. I'm getting glammed up for me." Use a fucking lie. And these be the same women that be giving off this energy like they don't need a man. It's almost like they hate men, but you show up every day on social media when you go out and you act like you don't like the attention from men, but you do. You love it.
Right, they're not lesbian,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
right.
not all of them. So what are they doing it for? If it's not for a mission or a purpose or a cause, you're not on here talking about anything. You're just showing yourself. What's the fucking point?
Because they like that attention. They like
Yeah.
that, and majority of that attention is gonna come from men.
Yeah.
And as much as they like to claim it ain't about pleasing the men, it
Mm-hmm.
is. It ain't like it's just because you are putting a wall up. Like you might not be accepting the advances from men. You might not be
Attention whores.
you might not be getting with these men, but
Right.
you like the attention that they're giving you because it's validating you in some way. It's making you
Correct.
feel good about yourself.
Yes. Which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think whatever we're good at, we
Right.
should be admired for in a way. But if that can't be the only trait that you have, and that can't be the only, I think everybody has many talents. And if the only thing emphasized about you is your sexuality and there's nothing else, then you're not balanced. You're not a balanced person. You're not a balanced individual. And you just, keep striving for that. But sometimes if all we can do is think about posts and looking good and thirst trapping and shit like that, then we don't really get anything accomplished, you know? And I know from personal experience, how I am and how things can come off as thirst traps when it comes to me. But I'm always gonna drop a truth bomb in there, do something that somebody's not gonna fucking expect because really it's the mission. And I gotta like actually relate and cater to the minds out here just to get a little bites here and there. That's how it goes.
But see, to respond to something you just said, the only thing I don't agree with is that everybody has multiple talents. Nah, some people really don't got. They don't.
Yeah.
Some people really just ain't got much going for them, and that
Well,
might be the only thing they got.
this is true, but look, I grew up not thinking I had any talents. I didn't grow up with a mother and my dad was not a non-creative completely. So I had to I always thought I didn't have any talents. Couldn't sing, I couldn't dance, I couldn't draw. I was not good at math.
Mm-hmm.
There were so many things that I'm like, what is my talent? I wasn't good at school. Like I didn't want to go to college. You know what I mean? And I would never was good at testing, but I was really smart. But I was more like wise. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. I wasn't like smart.
Yeah,
So I was like,
school isn't a good gauge of like talent and real
no,
gifts. Like it doesn't really tap into your real true essence of a person.
no. And growing up, that's all I really could compare it to. I had no spiritual background, nothing other than like Christianity or religion. So I just was like, I didn't really understand that, there is a talent inside of everybody. If you're on this live and you're listening to it, you're being called to a certain thing or something in life. Most people are traveling in their life towards something.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're just, unless you're just a lost spirit or an NPC, somebody that's just on
Hey, it's a
autopilot.
lot of those. It's a lot of those.
Well, let's
It's
let's
probably
hope
more
they're
of
not here.
those. It's probably more of those than you realize, but it's actually more of
I
those than us.
I know, but we have to speak to the people that have hope. We're not talking to those people. Those people are they ain't gonna make it as far as mentality. No, mentally they're not gonna be able to, just they just can't hang.
Hey,
And
a lot of people are okay with being lost.
that's
They're okay with not having any aim, no purpose, no nothing. And that's really what I see a lot of. People just are aimlessly walking around life trying to cure their own boredom, not trying to seek more in themselves, not trying to get
they're
good at anything, not
trying to
trying to,
cure their own boredom, and the cure to their boredom is tapping into that creative ability. That's what they don't
yeah.
get.
But do you think everybody is creative? Do you think
No, no,
everybody,
I fucking think everybody is damned to hell if you ask me, but I can't.
what
I
you
don't.
mean by that?
Not like that. Not like that. Not in a religious way, but I just mean as far as their internal hell. There is an internal hell, and a lot of people exist in that.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
and that's all I had to say about it.
That's the part that they're constantly trying to escape every day. Is
Yes.
the fact that they don't want to look
And
at themselves. They actually don't love themselves. They look in the
mm-mm.
mirror and they be like, "Yo, I hate how I look." And then they go online and they look at these celebrities and
I
they look
love
at these
this
people.
person.
What hold
Sorry.
on, what did he say?
Those who came here just to taste Skittles, purpose served, nothing left to do. That's right.
Yeah, it's like these people
Nothing left
hate
for their ass.
themselves.
That's
These
it. Taste the
people
rainbow,
hate
baby.
themselves. They don't look in the mirror and like who's looking back. So every day they're trying to avoid themselves. They're trying to occupy themselves with everything outside of themselves
Correct.
or themselves.
That's right. I'm just sharing. I'm sorry. I'm sharing the post to my page. I mean, sharing the live.
I'm like, yo, if you're ugly, it's fine. It's okay. It's like I just had a conversation with a friend today about how I ain't shit and she ain't shit. Like we'll openly say we ain't shit. So like we say it in a joking way, but we being dead ass serious. Like I ain't shit. And everybody
Hold
has
on one second. Pause your. I can hear. Okay. I can hear
uh-huh.
the like what you said 30 seconds ago. It's like, can you hear that?
Nah.
It's still going. It's like what you're saying. It's just like a lag.
Oh damn. It might be because I went out and came back in. Like my broadcast kind of stopped because I accidentally
Oh,
left. That might be what happened.
oh, maybe. And I shared.
Oh, you shared, so that
Let
might have
me
did
get
something.
off and get back on real quick.
I. But yeah, man. Like, if you're ugly, it's okay. Shout out to Ronnie Graham. Shout out to Griffin. Whoever's just tuned in. Drop a wave so I can say what's up. Hey, if you're ugly, it's all right. Everybody can't be pretty. Everybody can't be handsome. Everybody can't look great. There's an objective thing to how you look. But if you can embrace who you are, that shit'll make you powerful. So if you can embrace that you're not the best looking person, it's like Reggie said, both of you are fine on this end. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think it was just something on her end. She said she had just shared it, so maybe it made something act weird on hers. Let me bring her back up though. Yeah, man, like if you're ugly, just that's the thing.
It's
See,
perfect.
that's the thing. It's doing
Yeah.
good now. All right. That's the thing. Like, this is basic algebra. You know how they say like two of the same thing, it cancels out. It cancels it out. So
Mm-hmm.
like me and my friend was talking about, okay, us accepting that we ain't shit, and the fact that
Mm-hmm.
we can voice it and actually embrace our ain't shit qualities, it
Right.
makes us better people. Like
That's shadow work,
it makes us
basically.
yeah, it's like you got to embrace the bad parts of yourself, the dark parts of yourself that we all have.
Right.
And the
Eh,
more you do that, the better you become. It's like the darkness cancels out and you could just illuminate. You can just shine your light on the world.
right.
And
And it doesn't matter what people's society standards of beauty is like, based on society. So you can't even gauge yourself ugly or beautiful. It's like, it's such a stupid thing to do. People, most of the time, their heart is what becomes beautiful to me. I mean, the way that they think is like how I like them usually. You know what I mean? So I think it's important to just not say, oh, I don't have these beautiful bone structures or perfectly straight white teeth, or my hair is thinning, or whatever it is that we don't like about ourselves, and just say that's a normal life occurrence. And most of the things that are happening on social media are not even normalcies. They're fucking odd. We use filters, there's things, and I myself included. So I'm never, I'm not talking shit about it. I'm just saying the facts behind, we can't really measure our worth on that.
mm,
And we can't measure our beauty on that either. My son, he gets kind of insecure because he's got this big giant honker nose lately. The past couple years, it's just gotten to be really big, and he's like, I hope I grow into it. And I'm like, yeah, to me, it's a beautiful nose. It doesn't bother me at all. It doesn't take away from his looks. And I think just because he wouldn't even know that it was so big like that if people didn't mention it to him.
mm-hmm.
He would look in the mirror and be the same beautiful person he was before. But then now that just a few people said you got a big nose, or he's looking at himself in profile like this in the mirror. And I'm like, fuck this world and what they want to make us feel like. Like, my son is beautiful in my opinion, and that's not even, I really do think he's beautiful. I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm his mama. But I mean, the nose doesn't take away from it. It's a big nose now. Like, when I'm like, damn, I ain't even noticed until his friend said it. I was like,
Hey, and that's the thing. Like, you gotta accept the things that people see in you because they're gonna speak the truth about like how you look, and it starts at that age, that young age. They're brutally honest with whatever they see, if it's good, if it's bad. And I noticed that even when I talk to younger people, like they always constantly judging shit. They're constantly, if it looks stupid, they're gonna tell you it looks stupid. They don't give a fuck about your feelings. They don't care.
Yeah, that's
Like,
right.
so that's actually a great way to be. Like, if you can learn to accept that type of honesty and just like embrace it, because they're saying something that's true. And then sometimes it's not. Sometimes young people just point out an opinion and then you could
Mm-hmm.
just like question them on their opinion. Like, oh, okay. They might like something and then you can tell, okay, well, if you don't like it, I like it. You know what I mean? They
Right,
might
right.
they might see you wearing something and they think it look corny, but then it's like, well, shit, I like what I got on. So the fuck is you talking about? So I feel like young people can teach you how to have a fuck you mentality. Like, all right, that's how you feel. Well, that's your feeling.
Yeah, it
I
does.
feel differently.
It's a great lesson to be had in that, and
Not
growing through that.
the thing is though, like if somebody points something out in you that you're insecure about, then it'll make you address that insecurity. Like
Yep.
example, people used to clown my ears because my ears. I feel like my ears.
How the hell you address ears?
I feel like my ears don't really poke out as much as they used to when I was younger, but like that was like the only physical thing that people would kind of like, they wouldn't pick on
Mention.
me a whole lot about, but they would bring it up. Um, so it's like you got to get to a point you can't take yourself too seriously. If somebody's pointing out a truth in you, if you could look at yourself and be like, "Damn, I do got some big ass ears though, they ain't gonna lie." If you could just laugh it off and not have that be like an insecurity, or you look at yourself like you're ugly because somebody's pointed this out about you, then it'll help you love yourself more. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's like you can't. Well, I was gonna say you can't change, but with these doctors, you can change your physical shape and everything about you. You can basically create a player like if you on a fucking video game, just
A,
putting together
a
pieces.
real life Bitmoji. The
Right.
real life Wii character. Remember the Wii characters were like the first
Oh
ones
yeah.
we were saying like real life Wii
Mm-hmm.
characters. Yeah, I don't know. That whole thing is like that's a whole different subject and a whole different. Well, not really. It blends in with this one, but yeah, nah, I ain't really. I don't fuck with plastic surgery. I'm pretty open about that. That I don't fuck with plastic surgery. I don't care who likes it, who doesn't like it. I don't care about being canceled. I'm canceled already. I know from the future dates, I'm canceled. They canceled me before I was born.
Let's take turns. Let's take turns talking about things that we're insecure about physically.
Okay, yeah, because we talked about that earlier today. Yeah, let's do it. You go first, damn it. You
I
go first, damn it.
I so right now the thing that I've been insecure about, which is what I told you about in the inbox, what I'm working on is like my skin.
Mm-hmm.
I've been noticing how like been having like just like my face just ain't been looking too great. And it's been looking like that for years. Like and it wasn't something that like really bothered me. I still felt good, but recently I just wanted to do something different and take better care of my skin. So that's something I've been doing. Like a lot of the stuff that people are insecure about, if it's not like something like your ears being shaped a certain way or your bone structure, you can't change those type of things. But when it comes to certain things about your image, you can improve it by doing different things.
Yes, effort. It just takes a little bit of effort. And you'd be surprised what you can change about your bone structure in your face. There's exercises and facial muscle memorization that you could do to change even the way you fucking look without getting surgery. But it takes discipline and consistency. It's something you have to do twice a day. And you know what I'm saying? That type of shit.
Yeah, and it's something you have to want to do.
Right.
Like you have to want to better yourself.
Correct.
And ain't nothing wrong with like we all want to look good. We're not gonna act like beauty doesn't matter. And it's not about looking like somebody else. It's about taking care of the vessel that you have.
Correct.
And that's sex. No matter how you look, you ain't gotta look like these models on TV. But if you keep yourself groomed and you're taking time to really do that self-care, that shit is attractive. People are gonna be drawn to you.
Yeah. I was gonna say I love honestly for me, and I haven't dated in a long time or anything, but like thinking of like when I would go to places or there, I love like when a man, because I'm not really I do look at women, but not like that. But I love when like a man walks in who is not like the most good looking person there, but their energy is so strong and magnetic that when they walk in, it's like I want to know who that is. Who's that?
And it ain't even about how he look. It's just his confidence.
Correct.
And that confidence comes through taking care of yourself. Like if you groom yourself, you care about how you look. Like, come on, you gonna be able to pull people. They're gonna pick up on the aura that this
no problem
this person is confident, yo.
Have to talk.
Look at Notorious B.I.G. was fat and ugly, but the ladies loved him. He had that confidence. He had that swag, and he knew who he was. He knew what he was good at. Bro, like nobody cares.
Right.
Shout out to Jose. What's up, bro? Hold up. Reggie said you gotta eat clean and use witch hazel, bro. Bro, I just went to the grocery store today and bought some it's like this toner, but it has witch hazel in it.
Yeah, perfect.
So like I'm gonna be using that. But yeah, like I've been using this scrubber tool, right? So I bought. Sometimes it's gonna take some money too, like investing in things that you can use in order to improve how you look or how you eat. It's all like
it takes money and discipline. Yep.
Yeah. So like if you can invest in things that make you feel good, but they don't make you look better or make you healthier, then you can just take that same money you're investing in things that just kind of like
that you would spend on a burger. Yeah. To be honest.
Yeah, it's like
just put it towards something else. You could fast for a day and take care of your goddamn skin. If that's the case, like, oh, I cannot afford this face wash, but if I skip a meal, I can. You know what I'm saying? That's a sacrifice. That's a real sacrifice.
Sacrifice. Talk that sacrifice shit. Hold, I'm gonna wrap up my thought and then I'm gonna let you point out something that you're insecure about. So yeah, like the skin thing has been going great. My skin already looks way better.
It does, yeah.
Like I just feel better. I feel more clean, and it was like what I was telling you in the inbox. Like when you look better, you want to show up. So like if you know you're kind of looking, and you know when you're looking scruffy. Everybody can look at themselves and be like, man, I'm looking
I'm not
crazy right
I'm not matching my higher self. Like
right.
that higher self is up there and I ain't meeting them. We ain't meeting.
Yeah, so like I feel better about myself. I've never had low self-esteem or a low amount of confidence, but just doing simple things to just take care of my skin, like I just feel a lot better. So
Yeah. I will never get out of a skincare routine ever in my life. Like I always have one, and I always pretty much have had one for that reason, just because your face is like what people see first off. Well, you don't want to greet people with a face that you went to sleep in. You know,
right.
you don't want to look like yesterday, and people can tell. You know what I'm saying? I get it if you're just going to a store run or something, you ain't gonna see nobody. But really, the first thing you should do when you rise is take care of your skin, take care of your hygiene, your teeth, your showering, and all that stuff before you ever address the day, before you ever leave the house. This is a hard concept to grasp because we think nobody cares because we're in the house. Nobody can see us. But your energy is a reflection of that. And so if you start your day on a really clean slate, especially with affirmations and all those things, you know, that's a different level or different step. But if you just start it off by looking nice, the rest of the day follows usually. I'm not saying you're going to have a perfect day because you look great, but for the most part, you're going to feel better than you would had you not done it.
And it's about that self-care. It's always about they tell people pour into you before you pour into the world. Like
Yes.
it's on every level of life. So like the more you take care of yourself, it is going to reflect in the way you deal with other people and how your day goes. You're going to feel
Correct.
better about yourself. When you feel good about yourself, you feel better about everything. You want to talk to people. You want to show up. You want to like put
Yep.
yourself out. Oh,
Kind of
wait, wait,
like
wait.
when you would get dressed in costume every day when you were down in Florida, that probably helped you have more productive days and even though maybe your skincare routine wasn't what you wanted it to be, but you had something going on that made you more confident, right? Because that gave you a look.
Yeah.
It added to your persona. It made your wave movement stronger, or whatever it might be. So you went out and you know had this character, and then you come home and maybe wash your face off and whatever it might be, and then do it again the next day. That always is it's a ritual, because that's what a ritual is. It's a repetition of something,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And you're in a ritual, and anytime you're engaging in a ritual, whatever it might be, especially if it's for something good, usually good things come from it.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a negative ritual, like if you're, let's say, a gambler, right? And you go out and you gamble your money all the time, you're going to maybe have like more of a negative outcome long term, because you're not making like it's not a sacrifice. Like your movement was to give to others. Gambling is to try to get like win, you know, try to outdo or beat. So like the repercussions of something like that are more going to be on the negative side versus positive. So that's what rituals are, and that's like how they manifest in our lives.
Hold up, Reggie. Reggie got some good questions. Let's answer his questions, and then you can get to your first thing about yourself that you're insecure about. So we can both answer this.
Scrub
Reggie
them.
said, "What's worse, being an ugly man? Oh shit, being an ugly man or an ugly woman?" I'm gonna let you answer it.
Come on now, an ugly man is worse because you don't have a vagina. Like
Whoa, 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 whoa!
that's
You
it.
think being an ugly man is
I
worse?
think being an ugly man is worse because, I'm sorry, but pussy don't got no face. You're
Man,
gonna hear people say that.
no, no,
You're gonna hear people say
no.
that. Have you ever why how come there's such thing as something called a butterhead? When a
Uh,
girl's body
uh-uh.
looks nice and her face is
Nope.
ugly, they will
Hey.
still fuck with
Well,
her. Have you ever heard the song Tip?
nope.
Have you ever heard the song
Nope.
Tip? There's a song Tip Drill by Nelly. It must be a ass because it ain't a face.
Yeah,
I need a tip drill.
yeah, but that's like a small percentage of the female population that you might be ugly and you got a fat ass. Like so you're part of like a small percentage, and you that ain't even gonna guarantee you a whole lot of play just because you got a fat ass.
Yeah.
Yo, so look, I'm going to have a very hard disagree here. It is way worse to be an ugly woman. Way worse. And I'm
I
gonna
mean,
tell
it
you
depends
why.
on the level
I'm
of
gonna
ugly, you know? If
tell
it's
you
like
why.
manly ugly,
I'm gonna tell you why.
okay.
All right. A lot of this man woman existence, it is about attracting the other to eventually procreate and to build together. So
Right.
the the gauge of what makes you attractive as a man is not about how a man looks. For a woman, it's more about how y'all look. It is like
That's true.
how a woman looks is at the top of like what a man is going to be looking for in a woman. Like he wants to be attracted to you physically, and that's very important. For a man, I mean, we just talked about how Biggie Smalls was ugly as fuck. He was fat. He nothing physically desirable about the man, but
Yeah.
he was fully in his purpose. He was rich, he was successful, and all the women wanted him. So like your ability to attract women as a man is not really about how you look. So we could be ugly as fuck. It's less weight on us looking good, basically.
Yeah. I don't disagree. I think there's a certain balance that comes to that because you know you have cougars and you have all types of women who can certainly get a man and don't have to look good at all. But I do think the stereotype and like wanting a woman to have a beautiful body, a beautiful face, and having this perfect goddess-like being is like what people look towards. And we don't really look like that towards men as much because they're men. We're like, well, hopefully he goes to the gym and he looks nice, his body's good. But we want him to make money and be action forwarded, and we want him to be a provider, and we want him to. So I get what you're saying. I won't argue that one. I don't. It's not worth it. I really do think that you're right, but I do think that plenty of women can get men that are ugly as fuck.
Okay, so how does a ugly woman get men?
I think a ugly woman can get a man based on if she's willing to whore herself or be a hoe or
Mm-hmm.
just be willing to have sex, right, with whoever, whatever. If her body is nice but her face isn't, if she has money, you know what I'm saying? Those are the things that to me will you'll still be able to pull a man for the most part. I mean, honestly, I know so many men that fuck girls and they're like, I don't even know why I don't even know why. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's just like
Yeah.
honestly, just because the vagina is so sacred. It really is. I'm not saying a phallic isn't, but vagina is worshipped in Catholic religion. They don't even know that, but that's what the figure of Mary actually symbolizes. So there's a lot to be said about it. And because of that, it kind of draws people in. So it's a little bit different. Think about it like this: dick pics versus, you know, a woman sending you something sexy, right?
Mm,
Dick pics are not as accepted. If you send a dick pic to a woman's inbox, she's like, what the
mm,
fuck? If you send a naked picture to a man's inbox, yeah, they might be like, what the fuck? Because they might not, if they don't know you. But if it's somebody that you know, they're probably just going to like it. Like, honestly, that's just how it is. It's a little bit different than men. And also, like, even when you think about like sexuality and stuff, women are the ones that are always being looked up and looked at. Men are not as much. And I really don't think it has everything to do with the face, but it could.
wait. Okay, so you're pointing out the fact that basically sex content and physical look content is run by women, hands
Yeah.
down. Hands down.
Mm-hmm.
Porn, soft porn, hardcore,
Everything's run.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's about the one. We want to see the woman. Even the women want to see the women.
Yeah.
So that's how you know, like, how a woman looks is way more important because
It,
a woman's looks is just way more captivating.
it's way more important, but I don't think that they have to be beautiful because I've seen a lot of ugly people be successful in the looks but will be considered like good looking, I don't
Mm.
know. Like Serena Williams, she ain't beautiful, but everybody's like, oh my God, that ass, or oh my God, they just love the way that she looks, and
Cause
I don't.
she got a fat ass.
Well,
But
that's
then
what I'm saying. They don't
but
see
then like
it. Her face is not.
I don't like is it just me or did Serena's ass look bigger years ago? Like now it don't look as big as it used to look in the past.
I don't know. I don't. I
Is
mean,
that
I
just
think
me?
for some reason, like even after she had her baby, she looks very much the same
Yo,
uh
I'm laughing at
body
Reggie.
shape. What'd he say? Oh God.
You see what he look? Look at his latest comment.
Oh yeah. Where did you find this woman?
No,
Where is the
not.
ping? I'm reading. I'm reading. I'm reading. I'm going down. I'm going down. Oh
Oh,
God.
okay.
Hold on.
We
Hold on. Okay. Her feet stink. She with a white man now. Who?
Serena Williams. I guess he
It's
talking about
easier for an
Serena.
ugly man to get a wife. He
See,
said her
Reggie.
feet stink
See, Reggie's bringing up a good point about. See, we're
to
talking
get a wife.
about looks,
Yeah.
and I think from his perspective, we're just addressing the ability of one or the other to attract the opposite sex
Mm-hmm.
in a sexual way. He's talking more like, is the man gonna wife a ugly girl?
Right.
Because like when a man's looking for a wife, I mean,
It depends on what he looks like. I don't think a man is always looking for the most beautiful woman.
oh,
I've
we're
seen we
definitely all looking for the beautiful woman. We
well,
are. I don't care
okay.
how ugly that man is. He's
Some
gonna want the most beautiful one.
wanting and going out and getting is different. You see ugly couples all the time, what we consider ugly couples.
It be some ugly ass
So
couples. I ain't gonna lie.
they have to match energy to come together, and that's how that happens.
But that's because he's ugly and doesn't have money. If he was ugly and had money, he
right.
wouldn't be with an ugly woman.
Right. But this is all very superficial, this stuff that we're talking about. And this is just how society set it up. It ain't really, it's not really how it should be. If anything, we should be looking at what that person has to offer, like as far as spiritually, mentally, maybe physically, if that's something you care about, you know. But it's so twisted that, yeah, that's it's always a competition with us, and that's what I hate the most. It's always, oh man, this woman that, man, this is like, come on, we, you know. And I think that
It
honestly, with this whole,
is though.
it is
Like
what.
this shit is competition. Life is very naturally
Oh,
competitive.
I know.
I'm not gonna go too deep into this because then I'm gonna start touching on shit that is kind of relating.
Controversial.
No. It's relating like to this new composition I'm about to drop because I'm about to start dropping a lot of music. But this is kind of getting close to the conversation I'm about to open up with my next song.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to go too deep into what I was about to say. But what you're saying is like it's really relating to what, because this shit go like your looks have to do with mating. If we're looking at the point of life, the point of life is to find a mate so that you can reproduce, and you want to reproduce with the best possible mate.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of that has to do with how you look. A lot of that
Right.
has to do with that. Like that's a key part in the mating process. So that's why like we can't get around that shit. As much as yes, this shit is about a deeper meaning and like spirituality and what a person offers mentally and emotionally and like their personality, who they are, that matters. Because I'm not about to be with a pretty idiot.
No,
I'm,
that's
I'm
dumb.
not about to be with no sexy ass idiot. I don't care how
That's
good you look.
that's
But
exactly the point.
we have to address the looks first. It's always about the looks first. And you ain't got to be the most drop dead 10 gorgeous woman, but the way you look matters. Because
Mm-hmm.
like it's been plenty of women that would have been great candidates for me that probably would have been great life partners, but
Mm-hmm.
they were missing that first thing. Like, I just was not physically attracted to them. I could not see myself mating with them.
Right.
So they could never get past that. It's like it is what
Home
it
base.
is.
They stayed on first base.
Yeah, like
That's it.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I agree. I agree with Reggie too. Like a man could grow a beard. That's been real popular, you know, growing of the beard. You grow the
yeah.
beard, you hide the face. Nobody can see what you look like under. A lot of sexy ass men with beards, and then you cut that beard off, you're like, damn, you look like a square. No, who'd have thought? You know what I'm saying?
It's like
Damn,
the lion's
you
mane.
don't look like a Viking anymore. And
It's
like
like that lion's
right,
mane.
right. If you cut all the lion's hair off, it's gonna look like
He
I don't
don't look
know.
like the king of the
No,
jungle without that mane.
no. He
Nah.
looks like a muskrat. I'm pretty sure that muskrat will eat your ass with or without a fur, but
Hey, Reggie said, drop that shit, bro. I ain't even done with it. Like, I still gotta finish mixing it and arranging it. The music has been pretty much done as far as like I've had it sitting in my program for a while. I've had the song written for like a month. So now it's just been like fine tuning it. But yeah, this next song is gonna open up an important conversation, and of course, it's gonna be very personal because all my art is
Personal.
personal, and especially if I haven't written in a while, like I got a lot of shit to say.
Well, say it, Brandon.
Oh,
Go ahead
it's
and
gonna get
say it. It's
it's
gonna get
gonna get
said.
said. It's gonna definitely get said. Okay, tell us one thing you're insecure about physically.
Well, right now I'm fatter than I normally am. Just
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I'm fatter than I am. I'm about 30 pounds overweight.
Mm-hmm.
It's not overweight, but over my comfortable weight.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I have like a little bit of a hormone imbalance, and this comes from like long term, like poor eating choices, etc., mainly with carbs and sugar. But I have like a little mustache, and it's not a real fur mustache, right? I don't grow
Yep.
hair on my lip, but I have like this hyperpigmentation. Let's see if y'all can see it. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm insecure about it.
I
But I
can
have
see
this.
it a little bit. I don't. It's not
It
like
always looks like a
obvious.
5 o'clock shadow to me
Uh,
all the time. So, and even when I wear makeup, you can still see it through it. And that's like my insecurity right now. So I know that I can manage it and regulate it. And that's what bothers me the most is that if I have been making better choices. It was a lot darker. So like, and the better choices I make and when I decide to not do things that I know that's going to make this worse, I or refrain from like going directly into the sun and certain things that I just have never gave a fuck about and always just done. I noticed that it's better. So I know that I have the power and I know that I have the control. And I think that that's where we tend to beat ourselves up about things is because we know that we can control whatever it is that is bothering us that we're insecure about, but we don't always take those steps because there's things in us that are childhood wounds or things that keep us back from just really going out and doing what's best for ourselves,
mm,
or just grabbing onto that thing and saying, hey, I'm worth this. I
mm.
because I really
So
always
then
feel like,
that's deep. So do you think like people feel bad for taking care of themselves?
no,
Like, do they feel
no,
guilty?
I think they feel guilty for not, like when they choose not to and they know that they can, you know.
So do you think it's just laziness that keeps people from taking care of themselves? What do you
I
think it
think it's
is?
deeper than laziness. I think laziness is obviously a factor, but laziness is also associated with emotional development and how you're able to progress yourself because laziness is like a result of procrastination, um,
Mm, yeah.
in my opinion. So, or vice versa. But anyway, yeah, so I think that when we procrastinate with ourselves, it's a lack of self-love, it's a lack of action, it's a lack of movement. We're stagnant. And I think people beat themselves up about being stagnant. Sometimes it's okay to just be in that. I've been like in 1 year in this whole dark night of the soul. This is my second time going through this shit and it's miserable. But there's no way, there's nothing you can do about it.
Mm,
You feel it's the only way I really even knew I was in it is like coming out of it. That's how I knew. I was like, oh, that was a time. That was a dark time. And I realized that there was, an identity crisis that was going on and some things that were changing in my life. And when that happens, you have no choice but to go in this really dark place within yourself, and then kind of come out of it. So I'm saying that to say that sometimes we tend to beat ourselves up or trap ourselves because we tend to have these rituals or patterns that are not the best for us, but we have to just know that it's all about growth and evolution. And once we realize and identify the issue and we tackle it head on, we can conquer anything, any thought, any feeling, any emotion, even looks, all that stuff. If you're not happy with the way you look or your body, go take your ass to the gym, go run laps. Like, don't come back into the house until you sweat all that shit off if you're really serious about it.
right.
And so, but
Yeah.
but then that goes back to, just being patient with yourself and taking your time. Because if we were to go out and just run to the next town and run back, obviously that whole 24 hours you'd be so drained, and it's not something that you want to do. That's not a healthy way to do it. But if you're patient and you take time and say, I'm going to be consistent, and
There you go.
I'm going to sweat for 1 hour a day, and then that is more realistic. We don't have to beat ourselves up about it and run like Forrest Gump to the next
And
motherfucking
it
town.
ain't even gotta be something like super. It ain't even gotta be an hour.
Right.
Like if you can commit to 15 minutes a day to start off, just doing something, some type of physical activity every day, or just however many times a week, so you can develop a healthy habit. And then along with that, maybe like you said, focusing on the diet, because that's really where it starts. What's going into your
Mm-hmm.
body.
Mm-hmm.
Drinking more water, like taking the sugar out, because a lot of people don't even like to drink water. Like they constantly drinking sodas and like flavored drinks,
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff
Yep.
contributes to that. So it's like, I think, like you said, it's I don't know if you said this exactly, but it's really just, you have to want to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can complain about something in yourself, but until you really want to do it, you're not going to do anything about it. So
And
that's why I be telling people to like shut the fuck up complaining. Like if people are walking around depressed and complaining but not doing shit to change it, like I don't have any compassion for those people. Because
no,
it's like you just putting out negative energy. For what?
mm-mm. No, it can't be something that's talked about all the time. It has to be talked about in discussion groups and things like right now. So like if somebody has a question or a concern, this is a good opportunity to voice something like that. In these types of situations and scenarios, not walking around and telling your mama every time you go over there, oh my God, look at this fat roll, look at it. You know what I'm saying? Like stupid shit like that. Just move on, or be content with how you have decided to live your fucking life, whatever it might be. If you like bonbons and fucking Swiss cake rolls or whatever, then stick to that and be happy doing it. But don't complain like that. That I don't have patience for either. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, it's like damn, all this womp womp ass energy. Like if it's
Wah,
that
wah,
if
wah.
it's that bad for you, then you should have been made a decision to do something about it. But then when you get to talking to those same people about what they can do to change it, then they come with the excuses like, "Oh, I'm always tired. Oh, I got kids, or I got this and that." Or
Oh
it's like
yeah. When there's a
all
will,
the
there's a way.
it's like, man, there is no excuse. You
None.
can always apply time to bettering yourself
And I think that
because
people I think that go ahead, finish your thought. I
no, no,
lost what I
no,
was
go
gonna
ahead.
say.
Go ahead.
I was saying I think that people, like you said, will make all these excuses for themselves, and in the time that they spend making the excuses, if they were to just apply themselves to whatever it might be, they would get accomplished. And I think the first thing is I know that you want to just jump into something, but I think the mindset change is the first thing that has to happen or take place. And never think you're too old or too, because like people get really out of shape. I mean, when you haven't worked out in years, it can be extremely hard to like get back into a routine where your muscles are different, the memory is not the same,
Hmm.
and you have to build that back up. And sometimes it can feel like, what the fuck am I doing this for? I'm really not going to get anywhere. It's going to take me a whole year
But look,
before.
this is the shit people need to realize. First of all, let me shout out my friend. Damn, why do I always forget how to pronounce your name? Is it Tamiko or is it Tamiko? No, it's Tamiko. It's
Tamiko.
Tamiko.
No,
I'm gonna
anybody
just
called
start.
Tamiko.
I'm gonna just start calling my friend Tam, so I don't have to keep going. But shout out to Tam. Uh, but what I wanted to say about that. All right, the thing that people are most afraid of is the learning curve stage, because it's the
Mm-hmm.
most grueling phase of doing anything is
Anything.
starting. When you start, it's always going to be uncomfortable. It's always going to be difficult. It's always going to be a challenge. I don't care what it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You got to get over the fucking fear of that part.
Right.
Because I promise you, once you start doing it, it does not take long to get adjusted to it. It usually takes like a week,
That's
if that.
it. Just 1 week of
You
consistency, and you're like,
do
oh my
1 week,
God, I couldn't do that last
and
week.
it's like you'll be sitting there fucking slapping yourself thinking, why the fuck was I so scared to do this when all it was going to take is a week of me being
That's
uncomfortable,
it.
and now I'm like loving it. Now I'm like in the flow of doing it, and then once you're doing it and you feel good about it, then you get better at it, and
Mm-hmm.
you progress in it, whatever that thing is. Cause
And
like,
I'd say the hardest thing is not day one. Day one is not the hardest day. The hardest day is day two, showing up again. That's
mm,
always the hardest time. You can get there once.
yeah,
Anybody can get there once. It's taking your ass the next day and the next day and the next day that you're that creating a new pattern, because doing something once is just an event. That's like, oh, I'm going to the
yeah,
movies. Oh, I'm
yeah,
doing this. This is just a one-time thing. But when you create a pattern for yourself, it creates a new life
right,
and a new way of being. It's not just like, oh, here I'm just gonna pop up at this concert. It's a little bit different when it's something you're doing over and over.
right. Second time you do it, like you said, it becomes more of a habit now. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
routine. Then your third day, you really in there. Fourth day, come on, you almost
Right.
hitting a week.
Right. By the time you almost hit a week, I know that they say like it takes 12 days to break a habit, but by the time you hit a week and you get let yourself rest or whatever next 2 days, and then you get back into it again, I swear like you're already on that path. It only really takes a week.
It only takes a fucking
It
week
only
to
takes a
adjust.
week.
Like that.
I think
That's
so
that's
too.
that's really how quick for anything.
Yes.
For literally anything. I'm gonna compare it to, okay, when I was in Florida and the when I was living with this guy in his house and he had to sell the house and we had to move out, and that's when I started living in my car.
Oh
That
yeah, that
that
was the last
that was
place you
the
were.
most uncomfortable transition, and it was a few transitions. First, it was living with him, and then I was in the car, but I had a job at the Apopka Chamber of Commerce, so it gave me somewhere to put my stuff. So I kind of had a home, but it wasn't my home. I still had to like sleep in the car, but
Mm-hmm.
I had a place. So then when I got fired from the chamber, the week of like really adjusting to living in my car and not having nowhere to put my shit, that was like, then I had to like, all right, I didn't have the chamber to like wash up and do little stuff in the bathroom. I was using their bathroom to like do simple stuff like that, hygiene stuff. So I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have a place like that to go. So I had to go get a gym membership. So then we get into like working out. Because before I got that gym membership, I wasn't working out. Like
Yeah.
I was just walking around, like I was active. So living that nomadic type of
Kept
life
you
gave me
fit.
physical activity,
Mm-hmm.
but it ain't nothing like really
Pushing
doing
weights.
doing like, and it ain't even got to be weights because I was playing basketball most of the time.
Mm.
But that's still like physical activity. That's a
Oh
full body
yeah.
workout.
Oh yeah.
So like it took me like,
Weights are not really natural. We wouldn't be lifting weights in nature. It's not something moving around, doing functioning, like fine motor skills, and what do you call it? Like agility stuff. That type of stuff is really good, and we're supposed to be doing it, because if we were in a tribe or gathering things, you would be squatting, standing, jumping, running, sometimes all that. But
yo, and then
weights.
that's another thing because I've done a lot of moving. I've done a lot of moving in the last 5 years,
So the
but
boxes.
especially the last year. But like every time I move, like that's like really great working out. So it's like two things are happening in the move. One, I'm getting the physical activity of it, which I love. Every man likes to be on the move too. Like it's a very core part of being a man. We're not supposed to be still.
Okay.
Women are more designed
Right.
to be still.
I
Men are
agree.
like, we got to be out, man. We the gatherers, we're the builders. We got to fucking move around. So like
Yep.
every time I move, I feel another burst of like just energy in me as a man. So like the moving does that for me. And back to this developing a new habit and adjusting in a week. Every time you move to a new place, again, you have to address this feeling of you're going somewhere new. It's the discomfort of being in a new environment. But
Mm-hmm.
all it takes is that week. Like when I moved here, it just took a week. I started kind of getting settled in, buying my stuff, and then boom, like now I feel like I've been here forever. It only been like maybe I'm coming up on a month, but like a week of living here, I was good. But
Yeah, thanks.
a
That
lot
gives
of
me a
people
lot of
are scared.
encouragement.
A lot of people are scared of moving because they don't want to go through that process. But like, and moving sucks too. Actually, it used to suck more. Now I actually don't mind moving as much as I did before. Like it doesn't stress me out as much because I'm thinking like, because one of my first times moving, let's see, I moved out of my parents' house. That was 2018. Then I moved from there to another place in Atlanta. And then my third move in life was going to another state. like that shit. And it wasn't just me. I was packing my shit and my lady.
Mm-hmm.
So like I had no moving help, and I had to do a bunch of shit by myself that I had never done. I had never rented out like a big moving truck. I had never had my own name in a lease, so I had to literally book a fucking apartment, or like basically get our names on a lease, or my name on the lease, in another state
How'd you do that?
before. And like I didn't even get to visit the place before I went. Like her mom had sent her a video
It
of the place, so I was
looked
able to
like a
see.
nice. I remember seeing the apartment. It was nice.
It was real nice and too goddamn expensive for me to be fucking covering by myself. But I almost
Mm-hmm.
got through the whole year though. It was cool. But yeah, that was a stressful situation because I had to be on the phone with the people and like make sure all my stuff was together because it's certain stuff that they have to have. So I had to mail like certain documents so that they could
Mm-hmm.
like approve shit. You had to pick a date. You had to like
Was that
get.
the first place you applied to, or that you
Yeah,
got?
yeah. This was
Oh,
the
great.
only this was the only place I applied to and I got in. So
Cool.
yeah, it was. But man, yo, that was the most stressful shit because it was like everything was coming right down to the wire, like, and I was hitting everything perfect. Like, boom, okay, we got that. Boom, we got that. And because it was an out of state move, it was a lot more expensive than just moving somewhere else in state. Because then
Mm-hmm.
I had to take into account my car because I was driving the moving van, she was driving her car, and I had to figure out I had to spend money to have my
Get your
car
car done.
towed. So they had to tow my car to Florida. So it was like it's always like multiple ways to get stuff done. Because another alternative would have been like to rent out a trailer and hook it on the back of the car, but I didn't want to risk pulling a trailer on my little ass Yaris and then fuck my car up. So like you gotta juggle all these different options, and you just gotta pick the thing that makes the most sense to you, and then it has to be in your budget, and then you just gotta
Did you
fucking go with it.
did you did you have to prove your income when you applied, or you didn't have to do
Yeah,
that?
yeah, and we
Oh.
fucking yo we tampered with some documentation and like numbers and shit. We was
Yeah,
doing
I
all.
was gonna say because it's very hard to move to Florida. I know. I'm like something ain't right. Not saying that it's not right, but I'm saying I know how it is. Like my sister right now, she can't get a place right at all because she has to make 3 times the rent. That's what everybody wants you to make, three
Yeah,
times the rent. Nobody makes 3 times the rent in Florida. Nobody. Like I mean, not as a single person. You'd have to make $50 an hour minimum. So anyway, I was wondering like how you got and I'm getting ready to move myself and I'm gonna have to prove income and do certain things. So I was like, and I'm not working right now. So I'm like, well, how am I able to, prove my income? But I was just
yeah,
wondering if that's how if that if
yeah.
y'all how y'all got in.
We basically like I was just adjusting PDFs and shit. Like I used my actual pay stubs, but I
Yeah,
just adjusted the numbers in a way where it looked like I made more than I was
right.
making. And I had a job lined up working with this company as a what do they call it? Uh voice receptionist. Like you just basically on the phone guiding people through
I
shit.
forgot what it's I know what you're talking about, telemarketing, but not really.
Is they the job title was like a voice, I don't know, voice receptionist, something receptionist, but it was basically about taking calls
Hmm.
all day. But you do it through a company, so you're taking calls from different types of people. It's not just one thing that you're taking calls for.
Oh, that makes it easier.
So you gotta like look at the script and know like what this person is gonna be asking or what they're gonna be looking for or whatever. So anyway, I was able to like I had to tweak some stuff with that because like I had the job, but I kind of like lied about the position and how much I was gonna be making. But
Hmm.
so it was like telling a half truth, and I hate doing that type of shit. And I'll never do that shit again. I'm not about to be lying on shit and tweaking documents because that shit it got us the place, but you don't ever want to have to lie to get something because that means you're not supposed to have it. Like
I get what you mean, but also what else you gonna do? Everything in this world is a lie. Shit, it's like you gotta it's a fabricated bullshit that we're dealing with anyway. So I mean, in order to get around it, oftentimes we have to lie. Think about how many times you have to lie in a normal conversation with a normal person. You can't tell them how you really. It's like, how was your day today? You can't fucking tell them how your day was or
My
what, because
day
they're not gonna.
was fucked
Right.
up.
That's what I'm saying. So we always lying. So don't. I get what you're saying with that, but I also, you gotta get it how you live out here. This is a cutthroat. This place is cutthroat.
That's why I'm saying, like, it's a lot of ways to live, and I mean,
I mean, no, nomadic lifestyle is the most honest, but it's kind of tough as far as survival. Like, really, without a tribe, you can't run. You can't run without a pack.
see that, and that's the position they put us in. They want us to feel like
Yes,
we have to do shit by ourselves, but
correct.
you really,
And we if we could do all of that, what makes life grand and feel good and not care about that stuff, but we have to find a way to run together. We can't do it on our own. It's just like,
that's
oh,
why
we
I'm
didn't know
like,
that. No.
I'm a 35-year-old and I live with roommates, and my rent is way cheaper than majority of y'all. So that's why I don't give a fuck what people think. And I'm over here and I be hearing, like, sometimes I'll hear a young child out there. So I know for a fact kids can come over places that roommates are at.
Yeah.
Because that was like one of the things I dealt with. I ain't gonna go too much into detail, but like with my daughter, it was like where I was living at the time, I was with roommates, and that was one thing that was keeping, her mom from wanting her to be over there with me. But that ain't, it's this thing where you gotta have your own shit in order to be respected. Fuck that. Like, what the fuck does it? This ain't even ours. And the shit that you think is yours, you paying rent. It ain't even
Not
yours.
yours.
You paying mortgage. It ain't yours. Like,
No,
the fuck?
everything that we have out here has become so expensive that it's always circulating until you pretty much die sometimes.
Yeah.
Besides a car loan or something, because it's a smaller, you can get that done in 6 years, 5 years. But most of the things that we really invest into, like a home or our retirement or our jobs, they take your whole goddamn life away until you're able to gain anything from it. So, like, how do you even know you're gonna live that long? It's the
It's like,
dumbest shit.
and I
And
don't
then,
give a
like, people that retire have to go out and maybe, like, now travel the world because they retired. How the fuck they gonna do that? 65, been eating meat their whole lives
right.
and
Oh, so
fucking
you
dairy and shit, and now their body's deteriorating. They got heart disease and shit. They've been smoking
right.
cigarettes. They can't
What
go.
kind of dumbass shit is that? You gonna tell us work your whole life, then you get to enjoy the fruits of your labor when you're
Some
old as
dumbest shit.
shit. You got me fucked up. I'm about to enjoy my shit now.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
enjoying life doesn't mean taking vacations and doing, like, that ain't,
no.
I'm enjoying my life by walking in purpose, and I'm making the decisions that I want to make in my life. I'm connecting. I'm using my get. That's happiness. That's enjoying
That's
life, and I get to
just
travel. But I'm not just traveling just to travel. I'm traveling with my purpose. I'm traveling doing shit that I care about, and
it's just
I'm,
a trapped American dream. That's all that is. It's like
man,
work,
fucking
retire,
American dream.
and then go and live off of your retirement and your pension and travel the world. That's what every American, like, you know what I'm talking about. Standard cliche thought form. That's what
Yeah,
they that's
everybody wants
working
to fucking
towards.
Everybody wants to clap their hands when a motherfucker show their house keys. Oh, congratulations, you bought your house. Oh,
Guess what? That's still, let
congratulations,
me a
motherfucker.
fun fact for you all who don't really understand how these systems work. That house is the land that the house is on is still owned and governed by the municipality. You don't own that house. You don't we don't own shit here. That's what y'all got to. We don't own shit but our
But
vessel. That's it.
then a motherfucker will be real proud about that shit and flexing, walking with their chests out. Yeah, I got me a home. I'm a homeowner.
If anything
I don't
ever
give no fucks.
if anything ever pops off or for some reason something happens, they can seize that land, and that house is on that land. It doesn't matter if it belongs to you. The
Man,
land.
this shit is about. And when the kids come into play, that's when you really find out the truth and how this shit is fucked up. Because there's not ever supposed to be a parent or two parents that feel like they're doing this shit by themselves. You are supposed to have the support of a tribe, and that's supposed to be your blood family. It's supposed to
Right.
be your blood family. But a
Right.
lot of us don't really have that blood family around us like that. So then now it's like we have to really start thinking on a family level with the world. We connecting every day.
No,
So why the
yeah.
fuck are we
We're
not?
just we're just made to we're connecting on grand levels with the people that are our real family, that are our real soul family, that we're connected to through time and space, through the cosmos, through ancestry, truly, like real ancestry. I ain't talking about blood, talking about like your DNA, the way that you're genetically made up. And I know that we have characteristics from our family. We look like our family members. We sometimes act like our parents and stuff, but there's still like a cosmic bloodline that you're connecting to that's out here, and it has nothing to do with your family.
Yeah, because like
So
just because y'all share blood, that don't mean y'all on the same
no,
frequency
no, I
energetically. You know.
actually don't relate to anybody spiritually in my family at all. I love them, and I think I wish the best, and I hope, God damn it, that y'all get to where y'all trying to get to, but I don't relate with them spiritually. I'd be like, no, 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 no. I don't really rock like that. It took me a long time to be able to just feel like that and feel okay, because my parents, all my grandparents, everybody always expected me to follow this certain spiritual journey that they were on, and I was supposed to go on that.
and
And
then
then when I didn't, it was like, the devil's in you,
and then
basically.
look, this thing just came in my head. I gotta make a point about like when it come to these kids and how we raising our kids. This shit is so fucking ass backwards. The things that people take pride in, because like people will take pride in like let's say like a married couple stayed together and they raised their kids by themselves. They'll take pride like yeah I raised my kids. But then you'll look at the child that was a community baby, and that's looked down upon. But in my mind, like, we're all supposed to be fucking community babies. What do you mean? The community is supposed to be raising these kids.
Yeah.
But then these same people that have this mentality of, oh, take care of your own as you and don't have your kids everywhere like that's your responsibility. You had the baby, so you got to do everything for them. They be the same ones that be like, it take a village to raise a child. Where the fuck is the village?
Yeah, it's not non-existent, unfortunately. There's small, there's communities of people that do kind of raise like in a tribal way, and like outside of Indian culture, Indian, like American Indian cultures and things. But I mean, in American society, standard American westernized society, the way that we think, we do everything independently, and that's why we can't survive, because the more they raise prices and shit, the more you can't survive. And it's so obvious at this point. I'm just like, how the fuck y'all ain't catch a clue, y'all ain't take a whiff yet? Come on. It's kind of ridiculous. You can't smell what the rock is cooking.
I just don't get me on my WWE shit because I love me some
You
WWE
know what?
shit.
Low key, I had a feeling you did.
When I get into my little like animated voice and shit, people be like, "Yo, you sound like The Rock. You sound like you need to be on WWE or something." Yo,
But that's
that
why.
was a
Oh, let's
very.
let's let's touch on then polyamorous relationships
Oh
and
wait,
that.
wait. Before we touch on that,
Okay.
uh, I was about to say something. Um,
You were talking about The Rock. I don't know if it was something before that.
it was before the wrestling point. We was talking about kids being raised in the village.
Are you talking about being a roommate? You said something about being a roommate. Um, mm, I don't
Nah,
know.
fuck it. We can go to the
You'll
next
think
point.
of it. You'll think of it.
Yeah.
Now I forgot what I was gonna say though.
Damn, you forgot.
I think so. I think I lost it. Um, polyamory,
Oh yeah, yeah.
polygamous.
Uh-huh.
Okay, it's so hard to like really
Shout out
define.
to shout out to Aaron. My bad. I gotta give a shout out to the new people when they come in, so they know we see them.
Oh, somebody wrote polyamory. He want to talk about that.
Let's go. He ready. My bro Aaron ready.
Aaron, he's so silly.
That's how you
Um,
spell it.
that is how it's spelled. Polyamorous relationships, if done with the right and pure intentions, it can be done and it can be beneficial to everybody involved, children, parents, everybody. But
Yep.
if it ain't done right, And if it ain't something you called to do or led to do or spiritually, you know that's your path, stay the fuck out of that shit, because it
Yeah.
really is toxic. And just like, if you haven't got a complete hold on yourself and you don't know knowledge of self and you just like to fuck, because this is the real thing with men, in this polyamorous shit community, then
Mm-hmm.
you don't have no business getting into any situation with multiple women, because most of the time men like that can't even handle just one. So how the
Yeah.
fuck are you gonna have multiple? So it is a very fine line that I draw with that polyamorous shit. But the mentality of it, if we could really get that right, then it would be great, and it would there would be no reason for jealousy, rage, anger, all those things that happen in a monogamous relationship. So I welcome it. I don't think anybody can deal with more than 2 or 3 women. I don't see having 5 wives. I don't know. I don't understand that. But at the same time, I don't knock anybody who chooses it, but it has to have like a very much a mission focused background, a foundation. It can't just be because you want multiple women, or women want multiple men. It's
Yeah, a
like,
lot of this shit is just like a lot of
it's like
guys.
a spin on the truth. It's like they take whatever our history is, what we have gone through or done, and they're like, oh, we heard this through the grapevine that Africans did this in their indigenous culture, and then all of a sudden it get down to the niggas, like American niggas, and then you be like, damn, how the hell y'all took that and made it this? It's not what it's supposed to
It's
be.
just like like a lot of men will just use polyamory as an excuse or as something that'll feed their lack of discipline. Basically,
Yeah,
they want
their
they want a
hunger.
lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
They want a lifestyle that will make it okay for them to not be disciplined and to be sexually free and just to have sex with whoever. Because okay, sex is important. We're not gonna act like it's not. Sex is a very core part of our existence and what we want and what we go after. But it's like it can't just be a pleasure thing because sex
Mm-mm.
is it's about mating. It's about procreation.
Right.
And if we're procreating, we're supposed to be thinking about building the family.
Yes.
We're supposed to be like building a life with a person or multiple people if you
Mm-hmm.
want to do that. So polyamory is really just encouraging more of a
Right.
village. But you
That's
still
why
need discipline. It
right.
takes a lot of discipline to be able
Because
to structure that.
if you notice that every village that has ever existed, or any tribe, they always have a chief. You can't
Yeah.
really run it without a chief of some kind. Unfortunately, it kind of gets sticky in those situations, because you don't want to have something that you don't have like a democracy in. But that's how it can tend to be tribes. And I've always wondered how that works in the future going forward, like how are chiefs and stuff even, like how do you go about all that type of stuff? But anyway, the whole point I'm trying to make is that what you just said, it takes that type of mentality, that leadership, that effort in wanting to make the tribe work and survive. But if you don't have that, and you're just wanting to have multiple partners and enjoy them just for shits and giggles, and then the money's a plus, it's still not enough. It's just not
Yeah,
enough.
like it's like
It's not enough. You have to
man,
really
look,
want something different in the world.
polyamory still puts you in a box of only having a certain amount of women. So if you're the type of person that wants to have sex with a bunch of different people
Right.
outside of your union and whatever you're building with one, two, three, four, it's still a set group. So you got to get over this desire to like
No, and that means that set group is going to get boring for you too.
yeah, so like
That's all it is.
I think a lot of people just want to have this open relationship. So if that's what it is, then a lot of these people, they're not built for polyamory because they're jealous. So they're actually more built for monogamy. They just want to be able to have sex with other people and still go back to their partner.
People
So
are in polygamous relationships because they got cheated on so much.
yeah, so they be
The
like, fuck it.
women just decide all men are like this. This is what they start to believe, and I've heard it come out of their mouths in some situations. men are like this. Men are always going to cheat. So I figure I might as well be supportive and find a way not to care about it. And the way that I do that is building bonds with other women in a polyamorous situation. And I'm like, damn, you just gonna accept his lack of discipline and and say so now this makes me feel like whatever men I were dealing with in the past, now I feel like, oh well, every man doesn't have that discipline, so I'm gonna like succumb to being with somebody who I don't really agree with the philosophy, but I just am like, fuck it, I don't want to get cheated on and feel like that. It's all about the ego still.
Man, people like to possess other humans. Like, okay, Aaron said, he said, then just fucking date. See, that's the thing. They can't just date
Right.
because they want to have ownership of a person.
You're
Like
right.
they want
Yep.
to be able to have a woman and be like, that's mine.
Right.
It goes back to like
And then he's
this
have
whole thing
multiple,
about
like that's
this.
mine,
Look,
and mine.
this goes back to this whole American dream and shit and all this fucking everything is dictated off of what you own. If you don't feel like you own something, then it means nothing over here.
Yeah.
So it's like they apply that same mentality and system to people and relationships.
It's
like
dominion.
If you can't say you own this person, then it's like it means nothing in this society.
No.
And they structured in a way where if you participate in this ownership game, we're going to give you certain perks. So like if you marry a person, people who are married have more benefits in this society.
Right.
But that's business. Mm-hmm. It's all about laws and wording and business, and it ain't got nothing to do with building something real.
You're so correct. You couldn't be righter.
It's like that's why a lot of people marry for the status of it. It's a status thing. They just want to be able to say, I'm married, and now I get to do this and this. But then most people ain't even looking at it on that level. They just, a lot of women just want to be picked, and they want the ring, they want the wedding. They want to be able to say, yeah, I'm a wife. It's the title. They want the title. It just something about these fucking titles.
It feeds their voids. That's it. They think it feeds the void, but they'll never get full. They'll always be looking for whatever they're looking for, as long as they're looking for it in someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So
and then this thing about dating. Aaron said exactly. People don't know how to date, but want relationships. They want multiple ones. Dating is nothing but getting to know a person and connecting, building a bond. That's all dating really is. Mm-hmm. But see, like, people be having this thing like, oh, I got to date with a purpose. I got to date. If we ain't dating to eventually get married, then what the fuck are we dating? What the hell you mean?
Right.
I can't just want to fucking get to know your stupid ass. God damn, it gotta lead to this thing to where we get into a contract together and spend. Man, y'all be on some weird shit, man. But then these same people want to be free. These same people claim they want to be free or they don't like to be controlled, but you're feeding into a fucking idea that's all about control and you being controlled. So, like, pick a fucking side. Like, who are you?
It doesn't make sense.
Shit don't make no fucking sense. I just think, man, you don't even have to be in what we deem to be a relationship. Like, okay, I'm going to claim you and you're going to claim me. We don't have to claim each other to be a regular part of each other's lives and to help each other out. That's it. That's exactly. The community. That's the village. The village ain't about ownership. It's just about helping. It's about pitching in. It's about people willingly giving themselves to the community, being of service to your fellow people. That's all this shit is about. People got to get out their own head about what they want for their own shit. And all you doing is looking at people out here as a potential person that can feed your dream. What about what the fuck you doing for your community? Not just trying to find the perfect person. Like, what the fuck?
Real stupid. Look, I just was shuffling these cards that I had, and I pulled this card, and it says, "You are sacred," and the name on the bottom is Tulsi, and it's from a herbal deck. So this is what the book looks like. I'm just going to read what it says because it has a lot to do with what we were talking about today. Okay. So the herb is called Tulsi. It says Tulsi, also called holy basil, is a traditional plant, is traditionally planted in a special pot by the front door of homes in South Asia. This holiest of plants thought of alternatively as a household deity and a manifestation of the goddess Lakshmi. Brings heaven to earth. Her spicy scent reminds you to be aware of the unseen, of spirits flowing in and out. Tulsi says you are the strongest when you let spirit help you adapt to the ups and downs of daily life. Because we were talking about that, creating a routine. And that's just the ups and downs of daily life, because you going to get up and not want to do that shit. Oh, that's going to happen almost the first week, like we were talking about. Every time you go to do it, you're going to say, I don't want to do it. If you befriend Tulsi, she might give you a further message. Your spirit flows through your physical form, and so your soul is fed through your body's senses. You might wear Tulsi beads around your neck to remind you that you are the home for your spirit and you are sacred.
Yeah.
You're sacred. That was what the whole talk was about. Because really, we remember when we said we're going to talk about you being ugly, it has a lot more to do with the inside than it has to do with the out.
Right. How you gonna win when you ain't right within? How
Within.
you
How you
gonna
gonna
win when
win when
you
you
ain't
ain't
right?
right within? Come on,
Come
Lauren.
on. Come on now. Come on now. See, that's how you know Lauryn Hill is a real artist. Like when
Yes,
you think
we
when
can
you think
relate.
when you think of lyrics from a song in a moment when you talking about some real shit, that's how you know that's some real
Right.
shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Definitely was.
It's
And
like, come on, you gotta get right within so you can get right out here. Y'all be
right.
doing shit backwards. Y'all be trying to get right out here, and you wondering why ain't shit working for you out here because you ain't got right in
Mm-hmm.
here.
Mm-hmm.
You scared to go in here because you don't fucking like. It's cool. You ain't gotta like what's in front of you. Like you have to. It's like you gotta put the same amount of energy and studying and time that you put into school or learning a job. You have to learn and love yourself the same kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same
Yeah, it's
shit.
work. It's work. It's work.
Same way
And
you
it's
date. Same way you see a fine ass motherfucker in the damn. Oh, you go approach and then you putting in this effort to get to know her and do stuff for her and date her and you got in your mind you done made her something in your life, right? So then you doing what you got to do to make her that. But it's like if you ain't putting that type of effort into yourself, you got to approach yourself the same way you approach somebody you're attracted to.
yeah, first and foremost, too. You can't do it after. I know people are able to manifest relationships before they're ready for them, but I never wanted that. And I'm glad that I haven't been able to manifest things before there's my time, because I don't want to be in a bunch of superficial relationships. And even if it were just for the purpose of growth, I think the way I grow is outside of that. That's why I was never granted really with the relationship yet, at least, because I don't think I would thrive in those scenarios. They would break me down every time. If we had to break up all the time, I'm not the type. I love hard. I'm a Leo. I'm not the type of person that I could be in and out of relationships ever. I just be single. I have to be, unless it's real. You know what I mean? And it's hard to tell what's real and not real. But the only time that I ever did have something that felt kind of real, I had a baby from it, like a birth happened, and
Yeah.
so that was as real as it was, and that was in the moment, and then I was alone after that. And so anyway, the point is, sometimes you just have to find yourself in the wilderness, and it's a beautiful place to be, to really be able to look at yourself. It's hard, but it's still beautiful. It makes you feel alive, like there's a purpose and there's a reason for all of this, that the reason that we exist is to really just to face ourselves.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
a lot of times, like, if you're not facing yourself on your own time, the people that you deal with, even if you don't date them, if you deal with a person, even on a friendship level, those people are gonna make you look at yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everything is a mirror. Everybody is a
Everything
mirror.
is a
So it's like,
mirror. That's why I'm
You
like,
can't avoid it. You can run all you want. The only way to really run, if you just want to check out altogether, you just want to like kill yourself.
yeah,
That would be the
yeah.
only way you could just escape the shit. So if you
Well,
ain't,
I want to expand on this just a little bit because I almost mentioned it earlier. Is another way that people will, because we were talking about escapism. Another way that people will try to escape in the future and in this time frame that we're existing is through the advancements of AI. As the AI progresses and we're able to go into different realities with like Oculus and different spatial reality forms and things, that's you're gonna get a lot of people checking out with that. You're gonna get a lot of people checking out with that. So that's just that's like another step to it. Right now we ain't really there yet, but it's gonna get there.
so you mean
we
like,
we already see the pattern, you know.
so you mean like somebody will be able to live their entire existence through their digital
I
AI
don't think they'll be able to
identity?
live their entire existence, but there is I learned a lot of these things from movies, you know. They just tell you ahead of time. And then you can see the pattern. It's already taken us this far. You know, imagine. I know it's going to take us further. But no, yeah, no, I don't think they're going to live their entire existence. I think that there are moments of that they'll find joy. Any sort of joy will be in a reality. It's like a matrix within a matrix. Whoa, because so like they'll try to escape here, this reality, which is already a not real, to go into a different level of deception.
See,
And then
the thing that's gonna make it so that people can actually exist over there and not have to exist in themselves is like they're tying this money system into the AI and the meta
yes,
worlds.
that's
Like you could
exactly it.
you can literally survive as a digital creature, a digital person who's nothing like you, but you can actually make real money that you can spend in your actual real life. So it's like,
yes, to survive, just to survive, to be on this other thing.
so then you won't even have to be outside as you. So you could live in a bubble your whole
Yes.
fucking life and make money and survive. But then at some point, your dumb ass is gonna like get to a point where you want real companionship, or maybe you want a real partner. So then it's like,
you will have
how
you
the
will
fuck
have
you gonna do
no
that?
communication skills. They already did it. The kids already have gotten to the place where they can't communicate. If you've noticed that 12-year-old, they're very awkward. They wear hoodies. They're emo. Even the ones that are not emo have become like different and weird. Like COVID really did that. Like it did a number on them. That was like a ushering in of more things. So yeah, but that was just like you can already tell, and they're not even in spatial reality yet. Imagine. So I don't mean to get all grim and shit on the subject matter,
Oh, that
but
shit. Hey, it is what it is.
yeah, I mean, so like okay, so whoever's listening, I only know 3 people on the live, but the
I
good
think
part about
I've been seeing like names come in and out, so I don't think
not right with that
that
number.
number.
It's
Yeah,
never
that number.
changed.
It always does that. Like it'll move when we first
It
come
never
in, but then
changed.
it just stops at a certain point.
Yeah, and
Yeah, that shit's fucking weird.
it just went from 8 and then 3, and I'm like, nah, 5 people didn't
See
leave at the same time.
that shit ain't even been on 8 in a long time for me. Like that shit been on 3 for like a long time.
It's been on 3 for a long time. I don't think that's right.
Yeah, shit
But the good part about this whole thing, because like I don't want to just say negative shit. The good part about this whole thing is that there's opportunities though for people like you and I to tap into spatial reality and be able to help people, free people.
Right.
I'm training my kids for that right now. Like, trust me, we got plans. I'm like, y'all better get y'all shit together because y'all gonna have to be Neo in this motherfucker. You have to help people. They need you. They don't know what they're getting into. They have no idea. So I look forward to that. I guess
it's always good. It's always good in the thing or the tool. Like these are just tools.
That's it. If you can look at it as just a tool, yes.
Nothing is good or evil
right.
until a person decides to do something good or evil with it.
That's right.
unfortunately, it goes back to the point we made earlier about how you give people power, and most people are gonna fuck up and do evil shit with it because people
Yes.
they don't know how to like be disciplined when they have so much power in their hands to do whatever they want to do. It's like their mind goes to the dark side. Oh, what can I do to use this to do something fucking weird or
I
like
know.
it's like man,
People that don't think like that, we don't relate to it. We're like, how do you even get these
like
thoughts? Because
y'all
they don't
just
come
some
through my
fucking
head. But they're bored.
idiots.
They're bored. I don't know what it
Bored
is.
as fuck, aimless creatures, no
No
purpose. So their
purpose.
entire life is spent
Crazy part
trying to
is
figure out.
their purpose. The crazy part I think about it is that their actual purpose is to be our opposition. Like just so that we can
Yeah,
come into a balance. Like these people have to exist so that
yeah,
we can
we
get back
need
to source, kind of thing.
and
I'm
yeah, and
like, well, shit.
it's like, and a lot of people who lack purpose, most people are not at peace without having a purpose. Nobody wants to actually be
Right.
lost. Because if they were okay with being lost, they wouldn't abuse drugs, they wouldn't abuse alcohol, they wouldn't be sex addicts, they wouldn't be doing all this shit. They wouldn't have heavy ass depressed lives. This is a reflection of them not knowing what the fuck they out here to do.
They don't even
So like,
know that that's why. Like that
yeah,
statement
so it's
that you
like,
just made, like
yeah,
if people come across that and so happen to hear it, it could change. That's why I love statements that can change a life in an instant. Sometimes some people can make a statement that can make an impression and it'll change everything in just a moment. That's one of those statements because it's so simple, but it's very complex all in of itself. It's very true, you know.
yeah. I mean,
So
shit. So that's why I'm saying like people don't like when I get online, and sometimes I'll speak very aggressively toward the purposeless person or the person that lacks drive or lacks a point in living. So some people they'll take offense to it like, well, everybody don't think like you. Some people do. I'm not, man, look, there are certain things that are common in all humans. We all have core similarities out here. Nobody wants to just be out here without any type of fucking purpose. Why do you think people gravitate so much toward religion? Because it gives
gives a
them something.
sense of purpose.
It gives them something to attach themselves to that makes this thing mean something to them. Everybody wants this shit to mean something. So I take the shit deeper than that book or that religion because it's deeper than that. That shit
Right.
ain't really helping you find you.
Because if it did, it would already led us to the promised land by now, right?
Right, and there's so many fucking people that are into these religions that are these same people that I'm talking about
They're
that have no
narcissistic as
purpose.
fuck. Yeah,
Their
they
lives are
narcissistic
chaotic
shit.
as fuck, and when shit gets chaotic, then
They
they
go
want
to
to
church.
come on, they go to church
Go to
and they
church.
talk to God. They talk to God, quotations. They read their Bible and try to find some answers. They're like, man, the answers
I
are
don't know
in
nothing
you.
about that God.
The answers are in you. You're not going to find the answers to your life and who you are in a fucking book. It's not in any book.
If it
Like,
were, we would have that book has not been written. Every book that you can read is just a piece of the whole. If you know, some books you read ain't got no truth in them at all, just barely just but then you have, you know, more, you know, esoterically you can find things that, you know, are true and they have value in the Bible as well,
yeah,
of course. But it's just pieces. It's certainly not, you're not reading a history book when you're looking at the Bible, you know. It's the book of the sun. It has more to do with astrology than it has to do with fucking fictional characters, okay?
that's the real truth. If we just gonna bottle it up into one thing, like,
And I don't
the
even
truth
study
is,
astrology and know nothing
the
about it, but I
truth,
know what it
the
is.
truth is that the highest thing you can study is the stars, the sun. That's the highest thing we can see in this human existence is
The
that.
sun, you have to relate the sun to God, even if you don't
Yes.
worship the sun as God. It's the only
And
thing
that was
that
the first God.
rises. Right. And
The
it's
sun god.
every deity that has come along, you know, every 3,200 years or whatever, this cycling deity happens again, this solar deity that we're worshiping. The reason that you're paying attention to the sun in general is because it's something that you have to survive. It wakes
Yep.
you up basically, and it's the key to survival here. It sets, you know, and then it rises again, and it's like your faithful, it's that ritual that we were talking about, like even getting up in the morning and doing the same thing over and over. It's the only thing you can rely on.
It's like that's your constant. So like when people
Yes,
talk
if the
about
sun
God,
goes out, all of humanity, all of existence no longer.
they're
That
describing the sun. When they describe God, they're describing the sun. They're
and
describing what the
every, you
sun
know,
does.
even Jesus and every figure that is like recognized usually has this halo of light around the back of their head, and that is to represent this. It's not a halo like this, it's like a beam of sunlight around the head. I'll show you if you're ever interested in looking at it. But but yeah, that is to again to depict the sun, Amun Ra, that sun worship. All of it is, it's all sun worship, you know.
Yeah, and then like studying the stars and like the weather. Like that's why the smartest humans were the ones that existed before literature, before the books, because all they had
Yes.
time to do is to
Tap
study
in.
the fucking earth, the stars, the sun. They literally, that's all they had time to do, and they were so damn
They,
smart and
they were
connected.
good channels. They were able to channel properly because they weren't saturated with foods that they're not supposed to be eating. They weren't focused on social media or any of the things that distract us now. There was no media source,
Entertainment.
no entertainment. The only entertainment they had was trying to get closer to what they thought was God. And
And
the way,
then they didn't even, it's like that term wasn't even a
no,
thing.
exactly.
It's like,
But you know, the only thing that they knew or that we all knew is that the source of life is something sacred, right? You can sense it because you're able to give birth. Those things, those feelings and emotions were much deeper, I think, even then, because we can block out some of how we feel now. We give birth to a child, it's like, oh, we brought a child into the world. It's not the same feeling as an indigenous birth, and you know, in the woods somewhere with no technology and no, you know, just being connected. We lost that, you know.
man, I don't even, like those humans that were living back in those days, I don't even think they were worried about
No,
this
no,
shit
they had
anymore.
no
Like,
worries.
like
I
the
don't think so
people
either.
nowadays are so fucking worried about having the answers to everything in life. Like, what happens when you die, and what's the God, or what's this, what's true, what's not true. They didn't give a fuck about none of that. They just woke up, lived the life that they had, and they studied what was around them. They mastered the universe. They were
And
masters of the fucking universe.
yeah,
And that's, it doesn't require you to seek anything other than what you can see as the truth.
yeah,
The truth is that the
right.
sun came up every fucking day, and it's still coming up
Mm-hmm.
every fucking day.
All this
So
time.
when there's a, when
It
like
ain't
real,
never not
real
come up.
truth,
It's never not
real,
come up. That's
real,
amazing.
yo, real truth does not have to be debated. And
That's
it's
right.
not complex. It's very simple. All you gotta do is look at it.
Yep.
So anytime you have to debate some shit, or it's like this argument, this fucking God argument, religion argument, it's an ongoing argument. That's how you know it's deception going on.
It's all deceptive.
There's no truth going on in that. Cause
All religion was ever used to was to like fun to cause war and havoc between different countries, and that's it. That's all it
it's
ever was
like,
about.
yo, this fucking God shit,
Has
man, look,
caused so much
if
bloodshed.
if you ask a person, is the sun real? Ain't nobody on this fucking earth can go against the sun being real.
Right.
You have to be just somebody that's, what are
And
you?
and listen, there's a lot of things that there's a lot of things that I don't even know are real, you know, even planets, stars, moons, everything. But I'll tell you something, I know that the sun is hot.
Motherfucker's hot.
That
It's
bitch
doing
is
what it's supposed
hot.
to do. You can
It's
feel
doing
it.
what
You
it's
can see it.
supposed to do. Like
Come on now.
the sun is very trustworthy as far as its loyalty to us.
That
So
motherfucker always on
always
time. You know how they be saying, God always on time? No, you talking about the sun. That motherfucking sun always on time,
always
like
on, it
clockwork.
ain't never not come up. The the first time, I don't know if you when you were young, if you ever watched this movie called Rockadoodle. Have you ever heard of it?
Nah.
Oh man, I'll see if I can find a way to send it to you so you can watch it. If you like cartoons, I don't know if you still watch cartoons or not.
I mean, I honestly, I don't watch nothing.
I don't watch anything either. I don't watch it. I've gotten into a couple of shows. I watched a show called C on Apple TV recently, and that was really good. It was worth watching it. I always feel like I can't watch TV because it's not worth my time. You know, that's how I always feel. But I have learned things through movies and shows and stuff.
Me
And
too, yeah. Like, it's been some good shit.
It's been good things. Worth it sometimes.
Usually, the only time I watch something is if I'm with a woman that I'm dating or we're in a relationship. That's the most TV I've ever watched.
Right.
That's like the thing to do with your. That's the other thing I fucking hate. Why is that the thing that couples do together? You gotta turn on Netflix and look at a fucking movie.
Come on, there was a whole freaking phrase, Netflix and chill, for the longest time.
Man, listen here.
Damn, that's never gonna get old, is it?
Listen here. This shit has gotta fucking stop.
Bro,
How's the best thing we can come up with to do with somebody that you're supposed to be building a life with? The best thing y'all can do together is turn a movie on and
be influenced by it, whatever it is, because it's usually just shitty ass. I agree, Brandon.
My parents have been married for a very long time, and that's still the thing that they do together. They watch movies together.
My grandparents are doing that right now. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, my grandparents do it every single night. They watch these British murder mysteries. It's
what's funny? You know what's fucking funny?
BBC.
This generation before us, the ones that swear they got like so much more wisdom in us and they're more connected than us and all that, and like they were more.
They think that.
Listen, what the okay? They be getting on us about these phones, right? Always on the phone. Y'all don't. Man, what y'all hooked on the fucking TV?
Hooked on it.
The
Can't
TV
live without
got
it.
y'all the same way these phones got people.
But they just say the phones because we have it in our hands so they can see it. But every time you walk into their house, the news is on.
It's gotta be a TV.
The TV on. TV on.
The TV always on. Can't do nothing without that fucking TV. Like,
I'll tell you, this is something that my biggest pet peeve. Go ahead, tell me, and I'll tell you my pet peeve because I got one.
Have you ever walked in a fucking house in your life and not seen a TV in the front, like a big screen TV or something? Like, have you ever?
Unless I'm on a ranch. I've walked into places that are cabins and things that don't have TV. Or I've also been out of the country several times, and they don't have.
I be telling people, if one day I ever have my own space, because honestly, the way I'm moving, I like this shit. I love this shit. Even when I have the budget to be able to have my own spot, I still see myself bouncing around and being more in like the community living shit, because I want to have excess money to like invest into people and ideas.
Yeah.
I don't ever want a lot of my income to be getting sucked up by this fucking thing that I don't even own. I don't want any of my income to be sucked up by. There's 100 different things different things that can be sucked up by. I always tell myself, if I get money, I'm giving that shit away as soon as I get it. I already know. Like, come on, and we know.
I'm giving it away. I don't want it. I mean, I love
more
it.
More money, more problems, right?
Yes, I'm giving it away.
Hey,
I'm building.
Hey, Puffy and Biggie told us that more money, more goddamn problems. So why everybody want more goddamn money?
No.
Like, bro, I'm like you said, and people don't be believing me when I say that.
Yeah,
like,
they don't believe me either.
I want to make a lot of money so I can just give it all away.
Right, me too. And I would like to not have to worry about like a roof over my head and the bills, but other than that, I don't have any true vain things that I want. I just
like I want to be able
to have like some lighting and things to be able to record, minimal things to be able to put out information for people.
That's what I'm saying. Very minimalistic. That's the smart way to do this fucking life thing. Because why would you want to acquire more responsibility financially? Like, come on. Like, that's how people think, though. They want to make more money so that they can acquire more debt. And it's like,
yeah, but they don't
with
see it
that
as more debt.
mentality,
They see it as more things.
right? But see, it's like with that mentality, you're not really getting ahead. You're just at a different level of paying bills.
That's it. Just a higher level,
But
more
it's like,
harder to
I
keep
don't
up
give
with.
a fuck about none of that shit.
Me neither.
I always said though, look, I always said if I have my own spot, like if I ever do have a home of my own, my shit is going to look way different. Ain't gonna be no fucking, like, my living room area is not gonna look like the traditional living room in America where you got the couch here, all the couches are pointing toward the TV. So the TV
is the
focal fucking point of the living room. So tell me why the fuck they call it a living room? That shit don't feel alive to me. That shit is dead as a motherfucker.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good one. I would love for the living room to be centered. I would love the center of it to be like a stage, like with art, like with art in the background, and then whatever instruments my children play, drums, guitar, whatever. I would love that to be like the focal point.
That sounds like life. That sounds like a living room.
Right.
Like the living room is supposed to be used. This is what I feel like a living room should be used for. The living room should be used for whatever brings life to the people of that house.
Right.
Like, so are you telling me the TV is what brings people life? That's what y'all think fucking life is about?
That's the
looking at fucking
that's the spell surrounding the TV.
Because what I see, my living room gonna be a fucking content area. This shit gonna be it's gonna be creativity happening in the goddamn living room.
Exactly how I see it as well.
And if it's about guests, right? Everybody want to entertain the guests, and usually how you entertain the guests in this society is you bring everybody in the living room, and everybody you sit in them nice little couches that's all pointing toward the TV, and everybody just look at the goddamn TV. So my living room ain't gonna be no fucking TV in the living room. So if I got a group of people at my house, we really gonna be talking and connecting and doing shit. We're gonna be having interactions.
Right.
Ain't gonna be no damn looking at the damn TV.
That's why I automatically thought right away. Like right now, I'm moving, I'm leaving. I don't have TVs. I have one TV, but they're not in my boys' rooms or anything. But that's always been something I wanted to eliminate. It's just very hard once you submit to being, them have. Like, my kids feel like they're bored if they don't have it. And, it's hard to balance that. And especially without like a man or somebody to occupy their time, give them some direction or focus. So, yeah, we have used the TV in this house. But mainly they just play games sometimes. But we don't really watch much. Anyway, so, but that's as soon as you said something about that, I was like, yeah, I would love to not have anything. I would love to make like, voodoo-esque room where there's music and drums and things, and that's how you entertain people when they come over. That's music, that's art. That's how we've always entertained, is through music.
It's like, man, I'm about activity, and I was trying to express this to my. I hate saying ex because I don't like the term ex. That shit.
Right.
But the women I used to date in the past, I had conversations with them about this, and I could never like fully execute it or like bring it to life because I didn't have a full understanding of who I was, and like I didn't have full confidence in myself, and like a lot of times I was in their space. It wasn't my space, so it's like it's hard to like apply your ideas in somebody else's home. You know what I mean? So it's like. But I would always bring that up, like we would watch the movies and stuff because that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to watch TV and wanted me to look at certain shit. So like, but I would always express to them like, man, I just don't be feeling intrigued by these movies. I'd be wanting to connect with you. So I would rather like play a game or something. Like I'd rather play board games than to play or to look at them.
My youngest son is like that. He wants to play. We play so much board games that we get crazy because it's so much. It's so hard to find things that are entertaining because if you don't have any other people to invite, it's just me, my other two kids. We ran out of things to talk about. It's a little bit difficult. So we're like, okay, we'll play board games or we'll read this book, and then you get tired of reading, and it's hard to keep I think it's just the nature of this existence, because I have to get lost in the phone sometimes. Sometimes I have to pick up the phone and post things. Sometimes I have to, and my kids don't like that. You know, they're like, we don't want you on the phone. We want you here with us. And so it's like that whole balancing act can be very tough.
That's why you got to turn the phone into an activity with the kids. So it's like,
yeah,
because look, ain't nobody gonna keep me off my phone. Ain't no kids gonna keep me off my phone. Nobody can keep me off this phone because this is the tool that I use for. It's something I like to do.
Yeah.
I like to engage online. I like to create. This is my platform to be able to share what I'm creating.
Yeah.
This is how I make money. It's so much tied to this phone, and it's like this is a part of my life, and it's being used in a productive way.
Right.
So even when I was with my daughter when she was real young, I got the videos I've been posting past few days. Like, I was already getting into that flow. Her mom didn't want me doing that though, because in her mind,
that's what I was gonna say. You just put them on the TV. You just make it something fun for them to do. Or hey, here, let me turn this on. Let you present yourself to the people, and then it's a little. It's definitely easier that way. I've noticed that's pretty much the only way to balance it out.
You're killing a lot of birds with one stone. Basically, it's like you're curing their boredom. You're giving them attention while also giving attention to the phone, which you don't want to be off your phone. Like, so you're making the phone a family activity, and you're capturing family moments, which is what
people love.
Always wanted to do that. Even before these phones, you got families from prior generations, you got the Polaroids and the photo albums of like, this is the stuff that's precious. So this phone makes it very easy for us to capture family memories. And that's what it's really about. For me and the family shit, like when I was always wanting to do stuff with my daughter, I would have had way more stuff with her if it wasn't like her mom was getting in between that. She really did not want me doing that. And that shit bothered the fuck out of me because I'm like
that's some people don't want their kids online. They don't know. They think they're trying to protect them, but they don't understand that they're not protected anyway. Everything you're being spied on from every angle you could possibly imagine. You can't hide your kid's face. When they take those school pictures in the classrooms and shit, there's a database that those pictures go through. There's a lot of hidden creepy shit that people don't know about. You ain't hiding your kids. Stop it. Stop it now.
Like, you gotta, like, parents have to stop trying to protect your kid from your co-parent. And it's a lot of times it's the woman doing it to the man. Like, you're literally trying to protect your child from that child's dad. Why do you think that dad is a threat to the child? Like, why can't you just
unless it's a physical threat, unless it's a true physical threat, you can't. There ain't no doing it. So I made to make a Father's Day post about that. Go look on my page for Father's Day. There's a message on there. You'll like it. And I'm going to make another one just because I feel like doing it. But yeah, that whole thing, they got y'all fucked up in the game with that the parenting stuff with women. They really fucked y'all over.
It's like, no, let us have our fucking kids, man. You ain't got to worry about your child's safety when they're around their dad. Like,
I had trouble. I'm gonna put it like this: in the beginning of my oldest son's father never had an issue with him. Never. We always saw eye to eye. We always had an understanding and never had any problems. Now my second one, we had a little bit different issues. There was some jealousy and some rage and stuff going on there. Mostly on his behalf, but kind of on mine too, but not really. It was more like I just wanted to get away and get out of the situation, and he kept trying to keep me involved in it. And I had to break away from that, but there was no communication. There was no, I want to see my son. Can I spend time with my son? He just kind of disappeared for about a year. And then he made everybody think that I didn't want him to be around the son. And I was like, well, that's not it. There was reasons why he was with a girlfriend who had like assaulted me when I was pregnant. I told him, I just didn't feel like she could love my son if she hit me while I was pregnant. But hey, I realized even in retrospect that was me trying to helicopter the situation. I can't even really care because I have to know that my child is protected in all scenarios. Otherwise, I don't really have faith like I say I do. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was nervous that she was going to pinch him or do things that were like nasty to him because she didn't like me. And so for the first year, I was like, I don't really want him to be at your house alone yet. I would like him to be able to communicate and stuff. And he was like, I was like, can you just come over and hang out? You know, they hate that. They don't want to come over and hang out with you. I
That's
understand
the
that.
shit that fucked up the dynamic between me and my baby mom, because I saw that we were getting in that pattern. That was the whole pattern. When we stopped living together, it was constantly me going to where she's at, and this is before I even had a car.
Right.
So I was like,
and that's not a way to go about it either. But I also offered him this. I was like, look, I know you don't want to come over here and sit with me. That doesn't even make sense. We're not in a relationship, and I get that. And I don't think your girlfriend wants you sitting over here either. I was like, but just come, take him to the beach, because we live by the beach, right? I was like, come, take him to the beach, take him for a walk, I don't know, because he wasn't even one yet. You can't really do much with him. And I was like, so just do that kind of stuff until, like, you know, I build a little bit of trust, and then I'll let you take him to your house. But he was not willing. When I tell you, he was not willing to communicate, to talk, to work things slowly. Knowing that we came from that traumatic past with the girl and all that stuff, I thought like he wasn't being fair about it. But I can see where I also had my reservations and where I played my part in that role. But ever since then, it was hell on with him. Best. This man set me up, got me arrested. I'm talking about this man fucked my life up. You heard me? So for about 4 years of me struggling through court systems and all this shit, that was like not good. I still am the one who is kind. I'm still the one who's loving. I'm still the one who he's never one time apologized to me for all the things that he's put me through, or what my son has seen, or having my children taken from me, and all those things. It was all really just a jealousy. It was all a jealousy thing, and it was sad because he had a girlfriend. So I was like, why are you even putting me, you know, through this kind of stuff? But I think it was like him trying to teach me a lesson, like, you're not going to keep my son from me. And I was like, if you would have just talked about it, I would have let you, you know, he was being spiteful. So it goes both ways. And I only had that experience with him. My first son's baby, I never had any issues. But my second baby daddy always said, that's because he's a pushover. He'll do whatever you say. I was like, no, he's not a pushover. First of all, he's a fucking man's man. I'm talking about that nigga ain't gonna just be no pushover. He could never be that. So, but he just had a common understanding that I want what's best for my child, and like a mom kind of has those instincts. So he always just let me lead, and then he would ask for whatever he wanted, and I always just say yes. So I don't know. It's a tough dynamic if you're dealing with somebody who's not evolved spiritually, because y'all don't share the same dream.
I think that's where a lot of the frustration comes in for dads, is this having to check in with the mom for everything.
I know, and it's weird because we birthed them, so it's
but
like.
But then it's like on the mom's end, y'all don't have to check in with us for nothing.
We don't.
You get to do whatever the fuck you want to do with your children. Yep. But then every time we just want to do the simplest thing, we gotta fucking claw and fight and do all this extra shit. And it's like, man, no dad wants to go through that shit when all we really want to do is do the same thing y'all doing, which is be around our fucking kids, man.
That's true. Really that's true. But I'll say this, because this is the only conclusion I've come up with when it comes to that, is that if you decide to have sex with someone who you're not going to who you can't be with, and you didn't know that, because sometimes you don't know ahead of time, you have to relinquish that control when it comes to the mother, because the mother is, for whatever reason, she's the womb, she's the one that carries. I don't know why God, is set up that way, but that's where the baby always is going to be closer to. Even the maternal grandparents, everybody knows maternal grandparents are who the children spend time with, not the paternal. Not for the most part, it's always maternal everything. I don't know really why, but it's like if that person decides to be like overbearing and all that stuff, there ain't really nothing a man can do about it. And I think it's actually natural. I feel like if you were in a tribe and you split up and that person went on to another tribe, you make another baby. I'm not trying to say that Right? It's the nurturing aspect of it is what we do. That's what we run. Y'all not gonna really nurture the baby like that. Like when my son gets sick, I know he wants to be home, and I'll be like, look, I'm gonna cancel this weekend because he's sick and he wants to be home, and he might piss him off because he's like, I didn't keep him when he's sick, But my son wants to be home, and we don't want to hurt your feelings, because I know my son wants to be home. I don't have to ask him, but if I were to ask him, he'd be like, yeah, I want to stay home, and it kind of can be damaging to a man, and I see how it can be damaging, but I kind of feel like if we understood our roles and stuff, we might not be as offended and hurt by that type of thing. I don't know. Like I said, my oldest son's dad, he ain't never given me no issues about any of the decisions I made or any of the time I've given him. We've always been just like, it's always been real smooth.
Mm-hmm.
But the youngest one, he's like what I like to call a holiday daddy. Like he likes to show him off. He likes to take pictures. He likes to take him around his dad and make him know his siblings. And this is good. It's very important. But I know he never has called him one time that he's not been there. He goes every other weekend. Let's say for about 4 years now, he's gone every other weekend. And then he goes like for a couple weeks in the summer. He goes spring break and stuff like that. But he has never one time called my son just to check on him at home. He ain't never, when he's sick, not on a birthday, not nowhere, because his ego is so involved and he ain't gonna place no call to me to talk to him. Period.
Yeah, that's crazy.
After my son's 9, nigga, we've been done with that shit. I even asked him to I tried to get to do joint parties and I told him me, you, and your girlfriend, let's sit down and let's talk and let's get to know each other and see how I can see how y'all parent and y'all can see how I parent. I think they're intimidated by my parenting probably, but that's neither here nor there because I wasn't gonna be intimidating. I just wanna bond. And they refused. They're completely don't want to have anything to do with me. So, and I still trust him with my son goes and he's old enough, he talks. I don't have any issue with him going there. He spends a week, spends summer, and it's all good. And I've told him I'm sorry about little things that I've done over the years. I've apologized to him. Never one time did I get an apology. He did big shit to me. I did small thing. And never one time did I get.
I'm not dealing with a woman like you. I'll just say that. If I was dealing with a more level-headed woman, because I get the maternity instinct, and I've always respected her position as a mom. I was always super supportive.
Yeah.
I always showed her that I was very selfless and I honored her and never wanted to come at her as a mom. Never spoke down on her, but I dealt with a lot.
You can communicate, and that's how I know it's not you.
I dealt with a lot of fucking verbal abuse. Even when I was living with her, it was just, I never felt like she literally just didn't want me around. She made it very clear. And multiple times she made it very clear she didn't want me around. And it just ended up that it manifested. I think she created what she wanted. I'm trying not to be too specific. I don't want to air out specific things she said.
Dirty laundry, yeah.
But it was she made it very clear time and time again. She would constantly challenge my masculinity. She would talk down on me. If I didn't agree with something that she said she wanted to do concerning baby girl, it was always, I ain't shit. It's here that don't. Then it was the money thing because I ain't never been the most rich man ever. So of course I'm not
have a lot to give. Yeah.
I'm not about to be clearly some of the ideas have cost more money than I'm willing to spend. So I'm okay, how can we find an alternative? She don't never want to hear no alternative. It's what she want or it ain't. So it's
I think I've been
get an equal respect. It wasn't a respectful type of thing. So it got to the point where I just couldn't fucking talk anymore. So then I tried.
I think communication is key. Communication is key. If you guys can talk it out, most everything can get resolved. But if she's not willing to communicate with you and just gives you the same old reasons for not letting you see your daughter and stuff, then you know that you're just dealing with a one-sided situation.
Yeah, and it wasn't like she never kept her from me. That's like I always was able to see her, but it was always on her terms, like going to her. Anytime I brought up her bringing my daughter to me, never happened. She never brought my daughter to me one time. And I like
Yeah.
it really hit the fan when uh I had started going over my parents' place more often, and then I brought up the idea that okay, instead of me going all the way out there to you every weekend, because I was going every weekend and spending like a few days helping her out, because she worked from home and she needed somebody to watch Mystic. So then it was like, honestly, I felt more like a babysitter than a dad for a
Yeah.
majority of years. So
Yeah.
I wanted to feel more like a dad and wanted like my own freedom with my daughter away from her. So then when I started to try to patch up, I really actively tried to get her to sit down with my parents. There was always a reason why she couldn't do that. And that was a big deal for me because, again, we talking about this tribe thing, this community. That's my only community here is my parents. So I'm like, they would see her too.
Doesn't matter. That's their grandparent. It doesn't even matter about tribe. That's their
Right,
grandparent. The fuck?
exactly. So it's like, damn, I want to bring their grandchild around them. Like, god damn, I already got a brother that ain't in the family at all. He has a daughter too. Like, we ain't never even met his daughter. So it's like, shit. I'm trying to like create some type of fucking family situation here.
So what if you, okay, so let me ask you now from this point, like where y'all at as far as whatever, would she let you see your daughter, spend time with your daughter now, or would she be like, no, you've been gone away too long and I don't, well, how would that go, that
It's
conversation?
it's at the point now where I'm not gonna reach
Yeah.
out. She's gonna have to reach out to me because I've already done too much. I literally tried to get her into court, and I thought that would be the thing. I
To
never
do.
saw, never saw myself even going to court.
Yeah, yeah.
So the fact that I went to the court, you know, it's bad. Like,
I agree.
like what
I
the fuck?
agree.
God damn.
I don't
And
imagine
then,
you in no court hearing.
so then I'm like, I take it to court, and I basically figure out that dads don't have no rights, especially if it ain't no paternity. Like, there's been no paternity test. So on
Oh.
paper,
Wait, did you sign the birth certificate?
there is no birth certificate to my knowledge.
Oh,
Like, she
there's a
ain't.
birth certificate.
We did a home birth. So like a lot of the shit that happens in the hospitals, like it just didn't happen. So like we had to like do a lot of that shit on our own. But I never even remembered. Uh, I didn't do no birth certificate with her. So if it's a birth certificate, she did it by herself.
Hmm.
But when I brought up the certificate, like she never showed me a birth certificate. So
Well, that's either, those are the two like stipulations. Like you either have to have a paternity test or you have to have signed the birth certificate, and then that like establishes paternity. So the first thing to do is establish paternity. You have to do that.
exactly. That's the like I filed a petition of legitimation. Those are the first two things in that type of case is paternity, birth certificate, then you handle the other shit like child support, visitation and all that.
Yeah, because if you're, I mean, I don't know, is it Georgia state that she lives in too?
Yeah.
Well, in Florida, it's 50-50. So, like, no matter what, she got to give her that baby got to go to you 50% of the time. In here, but I don't
Yeah,
know, Georgia, I don't know.
I
And she
think
can't fight
fuck,
that. She can fight. I mean, she can not do it, and you'd have to take her back to court all the time, which she can do that.
that's what I learned. I
They're not
learned that
gonna do anything to the
this
mom. They're
this
not gonna
fucking
arrest
court,
her.
yeah,
Not
they
gonna do
don't.
nothing.
I thought for sure, like, and it's not like I wanted her to get fucking arrested or anything.
Yeah, I know.
I just thought if I make a move as a man, go to the court, which in my opinion was the right thing to do with where we were. We
Right.
weren't communicating. There wasn't no middle ground. She wasn't trying to meet me halfway, so you leaving me no choice.
Mm-hmm.
And I never pressed her about paternity. Always made it very easy. Like the moment I found out she was pregnant, I was super supportive, and we weren't even together when I found out she was pregnant. We were broken up. I had broken up with her for the third time, and I was done. And then weeks
Of
later,
course, you was done this
I was
time.
done, man, because it was too much back and forth. Like I was thinking about moving in with her even before the pregnancy, and then I talked to my parents about it, and they was like, "No, you don't want to move out like that." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right. That ain't really a strong move." Da, da, da. And I've got too much. If it ain't 100%, I was just like, "Fuck it, man. Let me just." I already walked away from her 2 times, so if I'm back in this space again, like I'm not supposed to be with her. So I broke up with her, and then like weeks later, that's when I get the "I'm pregnant" text. So the kind of man I am, I've always been good to her. Like I didn't give her no stress. Like immediately when I got the news, moved in with her, no hesitation. Because I'm like, I gotta be there. Because I got past trauma with pregnancies. I've been through 2 different miscarriages. One of them was super traumatic because I was actually with her during different parts of the pregnancy. But then it like that shit was just bad.
So basically you're fertile as hell.
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess.
You are.
I don't know. I be thinking I'm not fertile because
you should have more than 3.
I feel like I done had a lot of unprotected sex.
He's like, I should have had more than 3. I should have made more than 3. Goddamn.
Yo, I'm just saying. It took a while for her to get pregnant. We was having a lot of fucking unprotected sex. So, but yeah, like this time around, I just wanted it to be different. So regardless of what me and her had going on, I put that shit to the side. It was about making sure she had a safe pregnancy, being there for her, and making sure, we raised the child together. So
they don't give a damn. Oh, my pet peeve. Let me tell you what my pet peeve was when we was talking about TVs, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So my pet peeve is sexual content with TVs in the background, I can't stand that shit. I'm like, if you don't turn that, who the fuck told you to record this shit and leave the goddamn TV on? First of all, isn't the focus supposed to be you, the sex, the voice, the whole thing? Why is there a goddamn Truly Nolan in the background? I don't want to hear that shit. It's like my biggest pet peeve. I'm sorry. Like, I hate it. I feel like it says a lot about where you are even sexually. You shouldn't be doing it. You probably shouldn't be fucking making film about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like one of those things that bugs shit out of me.
Yeah. I think music too. Like I don't. You know how some people like to have music while they have sex? Like that ain't my thing. Like, I don't care about having like
music.
Turn on the sexy R&B and like,
R&B. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I've had sex with music in the background, and then like I can't really recall if like
it doesn't bother. It bothers you to hear it in the background, or you don't like to visually see like it and hear music in the back, because there's 2 different things, with that.
I mean,
I don't like porn with music in it either. But like, I don't know if that's what you're talking about. But
I'm talking about actually.
Like,
okay, are you talking about actually having sex with a person in real life with stuff in the background?
Nobody can have a TV on with me if they fuck me. Oh, never.
Right.
Oh, no, hell no.
Right.
I'm just talking about like visually what I've seen other people do and the content that they put out, and because I'm in like a different type of community, so I notice that happens a lot, and it really bothers me. And then in person,
you saying like you'll be watching somebody doing sexual,
like a live stream or something, yes,
but they'll have the TV on.
Yes.
Oh.
And men send me content too sometimes, that unsolicited shit, and they always have the TV on in the background, and it just bothers me.
Okay. Now I see what you're saying.
Get what I'm saying? I don't like that. And no, I don't. I would, if I was sexually active, I would feel insulted.
That's what I was saying. I thought you was talking about like
put TV on. No,
yeah, so
that's an automatic. That's an automatic no. I mean, unless we're watching a movie and one thing leads to another, and then we end up. But that's even
yeah.
I'm not. When as soon as we start any type of foreplay, the fucking TV going off.
Right, that shit getting
music.
Right.
Music, I don't care. I feel deep connection to music. If I'm playing music that makes me feel sexually invigorated, I don't mind that. But I don't like to watch like anything. I don't like to hear music like really in the background, because I feel like it takes away from whatever the art that is being created. Like I don't like to see it. But in like, I don't mind having music on in a sexual atmosphere. But TV, no.
I feel like the most music that was ever played during sex was with, ironically, my first girlfriend, and we were like both virgins.
You were young. Yeah, probably had to.
So like we was doing corny ass shit.
Yeah.
We was trying to really set the mood and make it. I mean, we was just like
Trying to understand,
young,
like candles. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
we
good
was.
though.
It was
That's the
dope.
healthy way.
Those were
That's
special. Those were some real special
special
moments.
moments. Say, are you
Like it
light
wasn't.
candles? You
It
smell good.
wasn't.
Everything's different.
Like it wasn't the best sex, of course, because we were
No.
both virgins. So it was more about just everything was new. We were exploring each other, and like
Yes.
it was the newness of it that made it good.
Right.
You know, like so. Yeah, that's really was the best memory with that. Like I can remember we would have music playing sometimes, but it would be like a whole mood that would get set.
Mm-hmm.
And like it was very, very, it felt very sacred because
Yes.
I knew she was a
Yeah.
virgin. I knew I was the first person. So like it was a very caring thing.
Mm-hmm. Like you felt like you had to be gentle with the person.
Yeah, it wasn't no ramming it in and doing all that because I know like shit, her fucking hymen ain't even been broken yet.
Pound town, just left.
Come
Pound
on, we're not
town,
taking
my
her to
God.
Pound Town. We can't take
Jesus.
girlfriend to Pound Town. No.
Oh God, what happened to us? Yeah.
We gotta take her to what's a better
Candyland.
we gotta take her to Soothe Town. We gotta soothe her.
Soothe
We
Town.
gotta take her.
I just left Soothe Town. Yeah, you gotta set. We'll have a talk about sexuality and maybe one other time because I have a lot to say about just there's a lot of things that need to be covered in that aspect, and I think I can get people to relate to it in a way that doesn't sound jarring. Because when you think of it, when people think of sexual content, they automatically think, oh my God, porn addict, or they automatically think, it's not something that they could ever watch or get into because it's like they would be too consumed. They automatically think that that's not something that they could even think about or look at or do because, I don't know, for whatever reason, we kind of just have made it something that's kind of shunned because it's like, it's very intriguing and it's a very powerful and strong energy. So it's like once you view something, you kind of want more. So I noticed that people that aren't in it, they kind of tend to think that that's the only way that you can, be involved in something like that, and it's not. That's not the truth. I don't think it's true. It hasn't been true for me. So there are definitely ways around that, and it's really just like everything else, like a balancing act. If you play basketball, you're not playing basketball 24 hours a day.
Right.
So it's like basically taking the time for yourself to maybe indulge in something like that like a pleasure, like as a pleasure point of your day, but not the focus of your day. It's just a part of it. It doesn't even have to be daily. Right. It doesn't have to be daily either. There's there's cycles that men should go on when it comes to retaining semen and ejaculating, because there's a circulation that has to take place in that phallic region so that you don't develop prostate issues, prostate cancers. There's a lot of reasons why the sex exists and why that blood has to flow to the penis. That's why you become erect. But anyway, yeah, we'll talk about that stuff on different lives. We done got into everything this go round.
Yes, this was
this was a very extra
diverse.
long live.
Hey, shit be going by, yo.
This shit about 3 hours long.
I still ain't chopped up stuff from the second live. I gotta
and neither have I, because I have creative ideas to do from some of the talks that we've had too, and I haven't. I'm thankful it's there. I'm gonna go back to it.
Right. This is great because like these 2 hour, 3 hour lives, there's so many topics you can chop out of these things. It's a lot of valuable stuff. So
it is.
I'm gonna have
and we keep looking better every time we come on the camera.
Man, come on, we looking real good. I ain't gonna fucking lie.
That self-love is working.
I'm feeling myself. Take my fucking glasses
off, nigga.
I'm really let me look these folks in their eyes.
You still got the little dot, and you still got the little imprints right here from the glasses.
Yo, I ain't gonna. I'm really feeling myself. The next thing I'm gonna get back into is getting into my workouts because that's one thing I loved about living in my car and having the gym membership. I was getting in better shape constantly, like in the fucking gym playing
And
basketball.
you said you like to be active.
Yeah, so like I just gotta I'm gonna get me another gym membership. I'm just kind of waiting to get my money back situated.
Because the move, yeah.
Yeah, the move, I have a little bit more expenses now, so I just want to make sure I have my money good before I start investing in different shit.
Well, you're a good budgeter. You'll figure it out. You seem like you know how
Damn
to
right
use your
I
money.
am. You goddamn right I do.
All right, well, I
It
guess
was
we'll have
great.
to conclude it. I think
Yeah.
every time I've ever got off the live, we've never got off at the same time. It's always like, I say goodbye and then you end it. So maybe we should just continue that, and I'll let you say goodbye to your viewers.
No, well, I think we're getting off at the same time.
Okay.
This is good.
Okay. All right.
All right. I will see you next week.
See you next week.